Today I'm going to tell everyone the story of a young man who transmigrates to a world of cultivation, where he meets friends and experiences many interesting and mysterious things. In this world, there are all kinds of things, such as cultivation experts, or fierce monsters, or evil monsters, even demon kings. This world of cultivation coexists with unlimited potential for achievement. One can cultivate into a saintly goddess. One can cultivate into a nurturing mother. One can choose the type of creature to evolve into. One can also choose to revert to one's ancestors, those on the side of evil practices. The story begins on a beautiful, clear day in the royal palace. A group of people are whispering to each other. Behind them, a young man is quietly observing the scene before him. Immediately afterwards, he freely spits watermelon seeds on the ground without any scruples. He sits comfortably on the chair and says, "The threshold of cultivation is really low. I am Yi Changqing. All beings placed in this type of cultivation novel are quite unlucky." It all started 5 years ago. The timeline suddenly returned to a sunny day. The young man suddenly appeared in an extremely strange world, only knowing to hesitate and say, "I have transmigrated." Maybe next to the system is a golden finger, the protection of the heavenly Tao, arbitrarily trampling on the laws of the mortal world and 7 or 8 shameless fellow cultivators. The male protagonist excitedly shouts. Then he pretends to be cool and calls out system. However, there is no response around him. He desperately shouts, "Golden finger, magic weapon, master, big shot, is there anyone who won't come here?" After a while, the handsome young man of the past now looks 10 years older, wearing ragged clothes, walking through every corner of the streets. Suddenly he hears a voice saying, "Check your spiritual root. Check your spiritual root, 1 copper coin each time." The old man earnestly invites. Yi Changqing is curious when he hears this and says, "I want to check." He puts his hand in front of the ball. Suddenly, the ball emits a dazzling light, making the old man exclaim in surprise, "How is this possible?" At this moment, Yi Changqing enthusiastically replies, "Quickly tell me, am I a rare genius with a very good foundation?" Of course, life is not like a dream. The old man makes a very blunt statement. How can someone not have a spiritual root? After hearing these words, the young man's face immediately changes. Everyone around him whispers, "So there is someone without a spiritual root. I have never seen someone without a spiritual root." Changqing thinks back to the days in the past as he speaks. Because he has no spiritual root, no sect is willing to accept him as a disciple, even though he went to the door begging. "Please accept me," the man firmly refuses. "Go away, we don't need useless people without a spiritual root." The male protagonist thinks that for the sake of life, I have no choice but to find a small town to live temporarily. At Shaoxi town, he opens a grocery store by the roadside to earn some money for food. He also relies on the knowledge of teaching and educating people from 2 lifetimes to subsidize the family, and the days pass relatively easily. During his teaching days, he wins over many disciples and teaches them patiently, deducing many lessons for his students based on argumentation. Sometimes Yi Changqing wonders, is it because the peaceful life without fighting makes me happy? Recently I discovered that my artistic level has suddenly increased rapidly. Not only painting, but even calligraphy, chess, and musical skills are leveling up as fast as sitting on a rocket. Recognizing his talent in chess, his talent in music, the young man secretly wonders, could this be my golden finger? Finally, he breaks the brush in his hand and shouts, "Bullshit. This is a world of cultivation where demons and monsters run rampant. Is doing art promising?" The servant seems to be too familiar with Yi Changqing's crazy nature. He softly says, "Mr. Yi is daydreaming again." The man now realizes the situation, then pretends to cough to gloss over it. He solemnly says, "The content of our lesson today is the postpartum psychology of sows." Some of the young students below burst into laughter, while the rest either don't fight or turn a blind eye, not paying attention to the lesson. Yi Changqing is angry when he sees this and reminds, hey, we are still in class." The students look silly but are actually rascals. They take turns mocking the male protagonist. "What are we learning? Immortals are coming to accept disciples. My mother told me to cultivate immortality." That's right. My father also said that reading books can't save mortals. The end point of the universe is cultivating immortality. Cultivating immortality has a quota. Mr. Yi, you don't have a spiritual root. You don't understand, Mr. Yi. Do you want to cultivate immortality again? Yi Chongqing is annoyed after hearing this and says, "How can you slander my innocence so groundlessly?" One of the students quickly replies, "Mr. Yi, don't worry, we won't do that." Just when the man is relieved, thinking that they still respect their teacher, a mischievous child says, "We are just laughing at you in front of your face." These words naturally make Chongqing furious. Suddenly someone comes to save the children, making them cheer. "The immortals are here, let's go. Goodbye Mr. Yi, we're going to the sect exam. Finally we don't have to go to school anymore." Watching the children running away in turn, the male protagonist can only shout helplessly, "If you can be chosen, I'll plant banana trees upside down and wash my hair." In the town, everyone, from old to young, male and female, has to stop in front of the imposing group of people. The woman who appears with this charming appearance is Lu Wushuang, the first disciple of the Taishuan Holy Land, and the lively girl in pink behind her is Yu, the junior sister who is also a disciple of the Taishuan Holy Land. The crowd respectfully says, "Greetings to the immortals." Lu Wushuang orders, "The disciple selection examination of the Taishuan Holy Land begins." The man quickly replies, "Yes." He begins the examination. Those who participate in the selection line up one by one. The young man looks at the middle-aged woman in front of him and asks her name. She brings her son next to her and excitedly replies, "We are called Li Goqing." The controller asks, "Do you not have a formal name?" In his heart he thinks that the children in this town are all ordinary. It seems that this trip is in vain again. The woman smiles apologetically and replies, Yes, my formal name is Li Chunfeng." Lu Wushuang is surprised and turns around when she hears the name Li Chunfeng. The mother, who didn't understand what was going on, asks, "What's wrong, immortal? Is there something wrong with my son?" The girl immediately says, "No, it's just that I think this name is not bad." The woman excitedly says, "It was given by Mr. Yi, he is the most educated person in our place." Wushuang smiles when she hears this. Unexpectedly there is such a Taoist figure in this town, maybe he is a cultivator. The man says to the boy, "Put your hand on the spirit detecting stone." The child listens and follows. Suddenly, a huge light emits from the spirit stone. Lu Wushuang exclaims unexpectedly, "What happened?" The man next to her stutters and replies, Senior sister, we drew gold. It's a true upper-grade spiritual root with the metal attribute." Li Chunfeng doesn't pay attention to the conversation of the adults. Yu, the junior sister, sighs in her heart when she witnesses this scene. A spiritual root with the metal attribute is extremely rare. The middle grade is called a genius. This upper grade is a rare thing in the world. The woman seriously says, "This is a good omen. Speed up the examination." The children gather in one place and take turns stating their names. "My name is Li Qingzhao. My name is Zhao Kuangyi. Wei Zhongxian. Fan Zhongyan. My name is Wu Sangui." The examiner exclaims in surprise when writing down the names, "Oh my God, why is the luck of these names so strong?" The notebook emits extremely dazzling luck. Lu Wushuang tentatively asks, "Are your names all given by Mr. Yi?" The children quickly reply. Yi Chongqing can't help but doubt when he looks at the scene in front of him. Isn't this the light of a top-grade spiritual root? He remembers that he once said, "Your child can't cultivate immortality." I said it. In the end, the clown is himself. On this side, Yu, the junior sister, is frolicking on the road. She happily says to Lu Song, "This candied haw is really delicious. It's worthy of being a place where many geniuses are conceived." The woman following behind also sighs, "I have never been to this place before. Looking at the spiritual energy here, maybe it really is a treasure land." The girl suddenly cheers excitedly, "Senior sister, look at these wooden hairpins. They are all very special and beautiful." Wushuang follows her back and thinks to herself, she really is a child. When she looks at the shop sign, the woman unexpectedly says, "This is." Immediately afterwards, a rush of light grabs her, making her scream in alarm. Wushuang falls into another space. She stands in front of a huge sword with the words Chongqing Grocery Store written on it. Yu, the junior sister, doesn't understand what's going on and keeps calling her senior sister's name. Looking at Wushuang, who is dazed like a lost soul, the girl asks worriedly, "Senior sister, what's wrong?" After a while, the woman turns around and says, "Junior sister, I just entered the 6th level of the Golden Origin Sword scripture." "Huh? But Master said that senior sister just passed the 5th level. And it will take at least 10 years to impact the 6th level," Yu, the junior sister, replies. Wushuang sighs in her heart. "Just by looking at the words on the signboard, my cultivation has increased rapidly. The person who carved this signboard must be a great sword Dao expert. Then she pulls the girl's hand forward and says, "Let's go inside and take a look." The two women slowly step into the store. Wushwang softly asks, "Excuse me?" Yi Chongqing says when he hears the sound, "There are guests." The girl looks at the handsome young man in front of her and becomes infatuated with his beauty. She thinks to herself, "This kid is so otherworldly, his appearance is that of a high-ranking cultivator. But there is no trace of cultivation on him, it seems that he is just a mortal." The male protagonist observes the person in front of him and feels that the god of wealth has come to his house. He thinks to himself, elegant clothes and exquisite makeup. They must be female cultivators of the Taishuan Holy Land. They won't care about the price of what they buy. This time I'm going to make a fortune. He then opens his mouth to greet. Feel free to look around. The items in this small shop are definitely good quality and good price. No cheating. Lu Wushwang looks around. Finally, she stops in front of a large painting and secretly says, "This is." As soon as she finishes speaking, the painting emits a powerful force as if it wants to attack her. The girl immediately realizes the urgency of the situation. She quickly draws out her sword and says, "Not good. The great power in the painting is not something I can stop at all. Could it be the legendary god Shi's 7 swords? The sword intent has flowed into my meridians and spiritual orifices. It seems that I want to break through again." The 7th level of the Golden Origin Sword scripture has officially broken through. After experiencing the realm just now, she quickly finds Yi Chongqing and says, "May I ask who the author of this painting is, and who is the character in the painting?" Looking at Lu Wushwang's sparkling eyes waiting for an answer, the young man thinks to himself, "It seems that the immortal really wants to buy it." She's starting to ask about the author. He excitedly thinks that he can sell this portrait for a good price today. Then he quickly replies, "To be honest, the author of the painting and the person in the painting are both yours truly, Yi Chongqing. This painting is just a normal portrait of myself, a rough work for practice." Lu Wushwang can't believe her ears. She asks in surprise, "A casual rough portrait? The sword intent in the painting, the essence of the flame, is not something that ordinary cultivators can compare to." The young man says, "Please laugh at me," he thinks to himself, who hasn't been crazy before. At this time Yu, the junior sister, also blurts out words that stab Chongqing's heart. "It's quite rough. This hairstyle and clothes are basically unwatchable." The woman immediately teaches, "Junior sister, your cultivation is too low to understand the true meaning inside, don't talk nonsense." Then she turns to look at the male protagonist and sighs, "He really has no taste. Why does this young man, but with a jade-like appearance and extraordinary temperament, have boundless sword intent in his painting?" Suddenly the girl wakes up. "Wait, a bit of sharpness. I can't feel the other party's cultivation breath. Could it be because the other party's cultivation is above me?" And he deliberately restrained his aura. Otherwise, why would this grocery store hide so much luck? And a simple portrait can help me break through the bottleneck. Immediately afterwards, she respectfully bows and says, "I am Lu Wushwang, a disciple of the Taishuan Holy Land, paying respects to senior." Yi Chongqing immediately objects, "Immortal. I am just a mortal. I can't bear the title of senior." Inside his heart he is secretly screaming, "Stop making close relationships. I will definitely not give you any chance to pay the price." The woman looks puzzled when she hears this. A mortal with such luck, and Taoism actually calls himself a mortal. I understand, this senior has heaven-defying cultivation, so his seclusion here must have a deep meaning. If I speak inappropriately, one sentence breaking the mystery will definitely make the expert unhappy. The male protagonist is worried when he sees Lu Wushwang constantly praising him. Could it be that this girl is so respectful to me because she wants to buy things for free from my shop? On this side, the girl is kneeling and reminding herself, when talking to this kind of peerless figure, I must be extremely careful. Then she timidly says, "Senior, I don't know, Wushwang has liked painting since she was a child. Your works have inspired me a lot. Of course I can bear the title of senior." Yi Chongqing becomes excited after hearing this. So that's how it is. Inside he is like a child happily dancing. So she sincerely admires my works, little immortal. I don't have a spiritual root, but when it comes to the art of cultivation, you are all very weak. Immediately afterwards, he comfortably says, "You can walk around freely. The small shop not only has paintings, but also daily necessities. Everything is available." You, the junior sister, visits around and constantly asks many questions about everything in the shop. "Sir, why did you insert a dried branch into the vase? This is a Zen vase." Changqing replies complacently. The girl continues to ask, Sir, why are these fruits so sticky? The male protagonist is impressed when he hears this and says, This is homemade facial mask. Finally, Yu, the junior sister, stops in front of the statue of Venus and raises many questions. Sir, why doesn't that woman have 2 arms and doesn't wear clothes? The young man replies that because she is the most beautiful woman in the world. Lu Wuxuan carefully observes the statue and concludes, This statue looks very insulting and destructive on the surface, but it seems to contain an unspeakable aesthetic. Sure enough, the missing 2 hands, no matter how you modify it, you can't reach the realm of perfection. The woman admiringly says, This is the enlightenment of a transcendent expert. This shop is not full of daily necessities, but all are pre-products. Yi Changqing is disgusted when he hears such a commotion and thinks, asking so many questions, Are you going to buy anything? Yu, the junior sister, suddenly asks, Sir, how much are these 2 wooden hairpins? The male protagonist quietly raises 3 fingers, and says this number profoundly. The 2 girls reply, We understand. Changqing's heart is blooming, thinking that whether it's 3 taels of silver or 3 spirit stones, I'll make a big profit. Suddenly the girl shouts, Wait, they think in their heads that a peerless and unpredictable figure like Senior is in the mortal world, perhaps it is to experience life before cultivating Taoism. So taking the treasure of the cultivation world is no different from insulting Senior. Lu Wuxuan keeps deifying the man in front of her. This hand style looks very ordinary on the surface, but in fact it hides endless laws. Raising 3 fingers is hinting at the 3 kulpas of all things. The circle formed by the thumb and index finger represents consummation and is also the shape of a coin. I understand, this is to tell us that the will of heaven is fulfilled, we must give copper coins. Immediately, she takes out 3 copper coins and puts them in front of Changqing. Please accept them, Senior. The young man is extremely humble at this time, thinking that he was a chicken, but he was actually the rice. His heart is choked when he knows that the amount of money received is only 3 copper coins. Lu Wuxuan still feels that her actions just now were very correct. She sighs in her heart. Fortunately I reacted in time. If junior sister used spirit stones, it would cause the expert to be unhappy. I don't dare to imagine the consequences. And on this side, Yi Changqing is crying in his heart. Cultivators are even stingier than the fake boss who opens a monthly restaurant. This month I'm going to drink Northwest Wind again. The woman continues to point to the painting on the wall and says enthusiastically, Senior, I want to buy this painting. Yi Changqing tremblingly holds 3 copper coins. He is unwilling. He thinks that he paints so beautifully and only gets 3 copper coins, and she says that she likes painting. She completely doesn't know the goods. He reluctantly gives the painting to Lu Song and pretends to be generous. Immortal, just take it. His heart is determined to endure. This cultivation must also value the relationship. Hoping that her big leg will be conscious and let me hug it. The girl sincerely says, Senior, I don't know if Wuxuan can come to Senior's place in the future to ask for some questions related to painting. She thinks that if she can hear a few more words from the expert, she won't regret dying. The male protagonist smiles apologetically, Immortal, as long as you are willing, you can come at any time. But in his mind he secretly judges that if a few more grandmothers like her come, he will have to close the shop and live on the streets. After a while, the 2 girls step out of the store. On the way, Lu Wuxuan keeps humming a song. Yu, the junior sister, can't help but ask out of curiosity, Senior sister Lu, what's wrong? Why are you so happy? The woman replies, It's just that, Senior sister, I broke through to the 7th level of the Golden Origin Sword scripture. The girl next to her is surprised when she hears this. She says loudly, You're not kidding, just a moment. The 5th level requires at least 70 years to impact the 6th level. And it will take at least 200 years to break through the 7th level. Could it be because of the young and handsome shop owner? Lu Wuxuan also honestly replies, It's okay, that Senior isn't supreme figure. She suddenly sighs. Then she gently rubs oil on you, the junior sister. She says that today I saw that the Senior's strength is extraordinary. Whether my enlightenment by him is a blessing or a curse, I don't know yet. Then Wuxuan stands on tiptoe and flies into the sky with you, the junior sister. The girl softly says, Let's go, let's bring the new disciples back to the Holy Land to participate in the heavenly trial. I must consider this matter and decide to tell Master and the other honored masters. On this side, the male protagonist gently walks with the wind, muttering to himself, The useless disciples are all liked by the immortals. A few copper coins have bought a painting. Yi Chongqing, ah Yi Chongqing, you are considered waste. When will these days end? At a restaurant. The man is happy to see Yi Chongqing and says, "Oh, Mr. Yi is here. Is it still the old 3 dishes for dinner tonight?" Hearing these words, the young man's mood suddenly sinks. He says, "Ah fu, I didn't earn much today. 2 dishes and a bottle of wine will do," the man says with a smile. "Oh dear, Mr. Yi." Suddenly an old man comes over and puts his arm around Chongqing's shoulder. He says enthusiastically, "Our Wei family can have today, thanks to you," the male protagonist asks. "Boss Wei, you're being polite. Has Erling left?" The old man immediately replies, "Isn't that so? The children in our town have all left." The immortals also praise that the names of the children in our town are all very good, especially my Erling. Then the old man pours wine. He happily says to Yi Chongqing, "The immortals of the Taishuan Holy Land heard that my Erling has the name Wei Zhongxian." Everyone there was stunned. The young man is immediately happy and says, "Of course, Wei Zhongxian, this name is what I carefully thought about. It carries a lot of luck." The old man gets more and more excited as he speaks. "Mr. Yi, although you don't have a spiritual root, you still have some culture." The man doesn't know whether to be sad or happy and only replies, "Then I really thank you." To express his gratitude to Yi Chongqing, Boss Wei tells Fu to give Mr. Yi an extra chicken leg. The young man looks at the delicious chicken leg in front of him and immediately becomes greedy. He says, "This is a chicken leg that I exchanged with my personality." He just picked up the food and didn't have time to taste his delicacy. He suffered a full attack on his stomach, and the chicken leg was also blown away because of it. Everyone present widened their eyes and sighed, "What a big black dog." Yi Chongqing vaguely recognizes at this time, "Could it be that you are He Huang?" The dog sitting in front of him happily wags its tail after hearing this. Another young man suddenly asks, "Mr. Yi, is this the dog that you lost that year?" The male protagonist happily plays with He Huang. He replies, "It's him." The dog keeps disturbing him, making him yell loudly, "Okay, stop licking." Yi Chongqing remembers that 2 years ago, he adopted a small black dog of unknown breed and named it He Huang. "He Huang, let's eat." After raising it for a while, it got lost. I thought it had already become the snack of wild animals outside. He looks at a hole in the wall and is surprised. "How did you do that?" All over Chongqing's legs are wet. "So He Huang, are you a licking dog?" The dog happily barks, then turns its head and goes somewhere. He is confused. "Why did you look at this painting as soon as you came back?" "Still this look, both scared and wanting to look, you're trembling." "I'm going back to my room to sleep. Your dog den is still in the same place. Don't look at that painting again. I'm afraid you'll pee your pants again." He just closed the door. He Huang suddenly transforms. Unexpectedly, this king can still return to the side of his original master. "I shouldn't have been seduced by that fox and left the master. Otherwise I wouldn't have become the look of a dog with a funeral." The shameless and despicable Chihua Demon King actually colluded with several great demon kings to beat this king back to its original form. Wait until I cultivate for a few more days next to the master. This king will definitely make you pay blood for blood. Could it be that the demons of the southern territory have found the door so quickly? It turns out that Chongqing is bringing in food. "You must not have eaten enough chicken legs tonight. Here's some leftover rice, eat it, and go to sleep." He Huang's eyes are filled with tears. "Master, I shouldn't have left you a year ago. I want to be your licking dog forever." He Huang swears that he will never leave his master again. Lying in bed, he thinks, "I don't know what He Huang has experienced outside for a year. Looking at this cowardly personality, it hasn't changed at all. I thought it was the prototype that created He Huang's stuff, and I was hoping that one day it could turn into a demon king so that I could hug its big leg. Who knew it would be a licking dog?" It devoured ravenously. With the protection of its master, even if the 4 great demon emperors of the southern domain gathered, they would be nothing more than ants before its master. He Huang's achievements today are all thanks to the He Huang diagram created by its master, which allowed me to awaken my bloodline. This time, returning without bringing any gifts for its master, it's better to take advantage of the night to search for a surprise for the master. The next day arrived. Chongqing opened and closed his eyes. It was hard to fall asleep. Why does it feel like the bed is smaller? He touched something. What is this feeling? His eyes widened in surprise. A girl was lying next to him. Chongqing was confused. Who is this? The early morning scene was peaceful. He was embarrassed and didn't dare to touch her. Could it be that he was having a wet dream? A girl he didn't know was embracing him and sleeping soundly. Changqing slapped her butt. This feeling is too real. It turned out that the person was the 9th princess of the Day Kingdom, named Yan Bingxin. She slowly woke up, wondering why she felt someone slap her but just now. Then she looked to the side. He waved his hand awkwardly. Hello, miss. A hand quickly raised. And Changqing took the full force of it. Bingxin shouted, Where did this strange man come from? Who are you? Why are you in my bed? Do you know who I am? Guards, seize this person for me. He said in pain. Miss, don't be hasty. First, this is my house. Second, this is my bed. Finally, why are you asking me about your identity? She ordered someone, drag this person out and execute him. He Huang's eyes gleamed brightly. Listening to this sound, the master seems to be having a great time. How exciting! Bingxin launched a kick. Get out! Changqing was kicked out into the courtyard. He Huang barked a few times, meaning, does the master like my gift? He scratched his head, puzzled. Where did this girl come from? Then he blamed He Huang. Why did you let someone enter the house at will? It replied, It wasn't entering at will, I brought her here. Bingxin thought, strange, I clearly slept at the post station last night, so how did I end up here? Could it be that guy just now did it? But looking at his hands, he couldn't even trust a chicken, and he doesn't seem like someone with high cultivation, yet he was able to avoid the defenses set up in the knight's mansion. It's better to trick him first. If he really has bad intentions, I will definitely call my father, and have him chopped into 100 pieces. After thinking for a while, she stepped outside. Then she shouted loudly, Is anyone there? The reply was silence. Bingxin was annoyed. Hey, I'm calling you. Aren't you coming here quickly? Then she walked quickly towards him. A little thief is still playing Go here. Watch me overturn your Go board. She suddenly stopped. What is this? The Go board emitted a strange energy. Why is the aura of this Go game so vast? My head is about to crack open. Someone, please save me. Bingxin gritted her teeth uncomfortably. The peaceful morning was destroyed by Bingxin's noise. Changqing turned his head. Why did this girl turn into this after sleeping for one night? Could it be that she wants to trick me? He Huang thought to itself, the Master's Go game contains countless great das and luck. Not to mention a small foundation establishment girl like her, even a powerhouse at the transformation god. Or void refinement stage couldn't withstand it. Forget it, who told her to be the gift I gave to the Master? I'll help her this time. Rays of light flashed. Bingxin was surprised. It's that black dog. It helped me break the illusion of the Go game. What exactly is going on? She gradually lost all her strength. He Huang recognized the instability. Oh no, her foundation establishment cultivation is too weak. She has to withstand the pressure of the great Daogo game, and her soul is separating. It quickly rushed towards her. At this moment, Changqing also sensed something. Bingxin had touched the surface of the Go board. He said unexpectedly, It's over. Xiao Haizi revealed his chicken feet. This Go game has finally been solved by me. She drowsily opened her eyes. And before her were the real surroundings. I felt like my soul left my body just now, as if I went to the gates of hell. Being able to help me break the illusion of this Go game, this black dog probably already has the cultivation of a demon king. If it weren't for that person taking action to break my soul's separation, I would have already perished. He Huang also guessed, fortunately, my master is powerful, or she would have turned into dust in this large Go game's secret realm. Changqing asked with concern, Miss, are you alright? She pondered silently. To be able to set up a Go game that conceals such terrifying power, to reverse life and death with a wave of his hand, and to tame a demon king-level black dog as a pet. Could this be the hidden great power mentioned in the ancient books? Wait, I just hit him and chased him out. He continued to ask, Miss, you've been looking at the Go board for so long, you probably have a knack for playing Go, right? How about you play 2 games with me? She trembled. The old ancestor said that the temperaments of great powers are extremely eccentric. I just offended him and suffered in the Go game. I should bow my head while it's still early. No, how could this junior dare to show off in front of a senior? Changqing was happy. It's okay, I haven't had anything to do for so many years, so I can only study these skills. Why are you calling me senior again? Do I look that old? Bingxin sweated. Having nothing to do, could it be that this senior's cultivation has reached the peak? He changed the subject. What's your name? Where are you from? She carefully observed his every move. Raising his hand seemed to exude a terrifying aura. This little girl is Yan Bingxin, a member of the imperial capital Yan Kingdom. Still not knowing the details of this person, she shouldn't reveal her true identity to avoid causing trouble for her. Father. Chang Qing continued playing Go. Looking at the girl's clothes and appearance, she's not ordinary. She seems to be a cultivator. Has she ever been apprenticed to a master? She replied, not yet. There are a few masters in my family who give me guidance. On the outside, he maintained a calm expression, so that's how it is. But inside, he was so angry that his face twisted. A few masters? How can ordinary people invite a few immortal cultivators? This is really infuriating. The two of them silently played Go. Chang Qing placed a white piece down. Miss Yen, how can this black piece escape now? She was stunned. The black piece is trapped. Then she felt like she was floating somewhere. I feel a vast and dense stream of the great Tao in this world. It's still the aura of the heavenly mystery Tao. Unlike the strong anger last time, this heavenly mystery Tao seems to be very friendly to me, who is still at Foundation Establishment. She began to pant. I broke through Foundation Establishment again. Chang Qing exclaimed, Miss Yen. She was startled awake. He waved his hand, Miss Yen. Forget it, you cultivators all seem to have that illness. Bingxin bowed and asked Senior, what kind of Go game are you playing? He turned his back and walked away. I'm just idle and have nothing to do, so I'm just finding some fun. After taking a few steps, he added, 5 in a row Go. She stared intently at the 5 in a row Go. He Huang ran over and tugged at her skirt, pulling her away. Little girl, don't get greedy. If you delve any deeper, I won't be able to save you. She still couldn't bear to take her eyes off it. Let me take a look, just a look. The sun was still shining brightly at the Tai-Xian Holy Land. Inside the main hall, it was very noisy. That Jin Shaoqi should be removed from the list. Chang Xian Jinren approached and said, Yuan Jian Shidi, calm down a little. Yuan Jian Jinren exclaimed, the reason why my Lingjian peak is ranked lowest among the Tai-Xian 7 peaks today is because it has so many wastelands with dry spiritual energy that haven't produced a good seedling for hundreds of years. Juju Jinren said calmly, why are you calling it waste? Yuan Jian Shixiang, don't talk nonsense. Jin Shaoqi is the ascension land of our sect's old ancestor. Qingye Jinren said, that's right, sometimes you should look for the reason within yourself. Are you seriously cultivating? Has your realm increased? You and your direct disciple Lu Wushuang have been stuck at the bottleneck for so many years, and you still expect to recruit a dragon or phoenix among men? Yuan Jian was furious. You're farting. I've been in closed-door cultivation for more than 2 years each time. Chang Xian stopped him. Shidi, everyone is civilized, don't be so rude at every turn. He shouted Shifu. Chang Xian suddenly noticed the disciple who had come to report the situation of the newly entered disciples. Let's hear about the enrollment situation this year, he continued. Come in, he said, and the person immediately stepped in. He said, Li Changming, the most handsome holy son of the Tai-Xian Holy Land, with dual attributes and dual spiritual roots, a rare prodigy in 10,000 years, greets all the masters. Yuan Jian laughed. Changming, you don't have to do these tricks with us. Chang Xian agreed. That's right, we've all seen you pulling up your pants before. He coughed awkwardly. The Tai-Xian Holy Land has accepted 180 disciples this time. 100 disciples with low-grade spiritual roots are from Changyang, Donglai, and Ani. Juju was excited. They're all lands under the command of our Guangzi Peak. Qingye said, congratulating Juju Shixiang on his great harvest. Changming continued to report, there are 72 disciples with mid-grade spiritual roots from Yanyang, Shan'an, and Yiming. Qingye teased, I'm sorry, Yuan Jian Shixiang. Our Chuying Peak has surpassed last year again. Why doesn't even a mid to low-grade spiritual root appear in your Jin Shaoqi? He trembled with anger. Then he suddenly drew his sword. The ascension site of the old ancestor is a load of crap. I'm going to level that entire Jin Shaoqi. Changming was still engrossed in reporting. 1 disciple with high-grade spiritual roots and 7 disciples with top-grade spiritual roots are from Jin Shaoqi. His footsteps immediately stopped. What did you say? 7 disciples with top-grade spiritual roots from Jinshaoqi? He excitedly congratulated the Tai Xian Holy Land and Sherwood Jian Yuan on obtaining outstanding disciples. Everyone was surprised. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could so many cultivation geniuses suddenly appear in Jinshaoqi? In the past 300 years, only one mid-grade spiritual root disciple has appeared in Jinshaoqi. Yuan Jian said sternly. Why? Are only your disciples allowed to have 3,000 people under your command? Are only your disciples allowed to have high-grade spiritual roots? Everyone was frightened. Holy Lord, who knows if the reviewing disciple reported the wrong number of people in order not to lose face? Holy Lord, please investigate. Chan Xian suddenly spoke. Wait a minute. Qingye asked curiously, what is it? He discovered that the names of the new disciples used to be a Go, a Miao, etc. They changed their names after they came to the mountain and gained knowledge. But look, the names of these 7 people are all extraordinary. Wei Zhongxian seems to have some of the true meaning of Confucianism. Could it be that he was enlightened by a great Confucian expert? Li Qinzhao is extremely refined and otherworldly. Wu Sange is very imposing. Li Chanfeng, on the other hand, has some of the demeanor of a Taoist. Could the person who enlightened these disciples be an unparalleled figure who cultivates both Confucianism and Taoism? The 3 of them shared the same thought. Yuan Jian speculated, this is heaven's blessing and the ancestors' blessings. Qingye wondered, Holy Lord Shixiang, aren't you saying too much? You also feel a bit strange, right? Chan Xian admitted, that's right. How could so many good seedlings appear in Jinshaoqi in such a short period of time? I've thought about it over and over, and there's only one possibility. He concluded. That is Shizu. Could it be that Shizu, who ascended in our sect's Jinshaoqi, has really returned to enlighten these children? Yuan Jian rejoiced. My Lingjian peak has been saved. Qingye cautiously said, it's still too early to draw a conclusion. We should still look at the results of the heavenly trial, and then draw a conclusion. Chan Xian agreed. That's right. The heavenly trial has always been the test of the aptitude of newly entered disciples. Even Changming back then, with his dual attribute top-grade spiritual roots, had to spend 7 hours to reach the top. He affirmed, it was 6 hours and 15 minutes. Qingye said sinisterly, Yuan Jian Shixiang, if these new disciples of yours can't even touch the edge of the heavenly trial, it's useless to have top-grade spiritual roots. He rejoiced. Who am I talking about? I won't say. At this time, someone came to report. She rushed in hastily. Disciple Lu Wushuang has brought 7 new disciples to pay respects to the masters. Chan Xian said, Granddaughter Wushuang, how can you arbitrarily interfere with the heavenly trial? She quickly replied, Disciple wouldn't dare. Disciple just arrived here and discovered that these 7 new disciples had already passed the heavenly trial, so I'm waiting here. Everyone was shocked. They were already waiting here? Far away, a hall was located on the highest mountaintop surrounded by layers of light clouds, which was the Tai Xian Holy Land. Inside the Lingjian Peak courtyard, the disciples were paying respects to their masters one by one. Disciple Li Go, Li Chunfeng pays respect to master, Wei Zhongxian pays respect to master. What a danger! Disciple Fan Zhongtem, disciple Wu Sange kowtows to master. Yuan Jian Junren stepped out and saw that 7 disciples were kowtowing to pay respects and said while crying, good children, bringing back the Lingjian light for Lingjian Peak. We will definitely not refuse. At this time, the Holy Lord waved his hand and called a disciple closer, Chunfeng, come over here. Then, summoned the spirit Qi light palm and put his hand on the top of his head and said, let me explore your spiritual roots a bit. Blue spirit Qi filled the area around the 2 of them. The Holy Lord felt every bit of his spiritual root and exclaimed in shock, this is the acquired spiritual root that innate luck can nurture. Wushuang also hesitated no less and asked back, Holy Lord, what is called innate luck, acquired spiritual root? The Holy Lord heard this and thought of an old man in a very deep realm explained, when a cultivator cultivates to the highest realm, he can resonate with the great Tao and produce the spirit Tao field, which is called innate luck. Then thought of the spiritual roots of the newly entered children and continued, and the acquired spiritual root, the name also means, is automatic and can get the nourishment of innate luck, and can produce spiritual root properties top grade. He stroked his silver beard and continued, Thousands of years ago, our 5 great holy lands once joined hands, wanted to create a place like innate luck, but many attempts ended in failure. On Jinshaoqi, where did the luck Dao field come from? And once again 7 people were born. Several children disciples standing opposite listened to the Holy Lord's explanation, and their faces were all dumbfounded because they didn't understand anything. Hearing this, Qingye Zhenren spoke first. If it is really as Xiang said, the character who exists on Jinshaoqi cultivation is so terrifying. Next is Juju Zhenren. To be able to let the old man admire the style once, there is nothing to regret in this life. Yuan Jian laughed loudly and then continued, not coming to our Tai Xian holy land. Afraid is not taking us seriously. Wushuang heard this and frowned worriedly, thinking, it seems that I should still be conservative, and guessing the cultivation of that senior, unexpectedly let such an existence, the Holy Lord, is taboo. The Holy Lord turned around and walked away while turning his face and said to Yuan Jian Shidi, you and granddaughter Wushuang take these 7 new disciples back to Lingjian Peak first. He laughed out loud and replied, okay. After he left, he waved his hand. Then put his hands behind his back and led the group to take his newly entered disciples back to Jian. Ling Feng said, let's go. Lingjian Feng, a place hidden behind in the mountains and clouds, the scenery is very immortal qi. Inside the room of the Peak Master, Wushuang was pouring tea into a cup. After that, he respectfully offered tea to Yuan Jian. He leisurely said, Wushuang, I see that your whole body is full of sword qi. This time going back to Jinshaoqi also has a great harvest, right? After saying that, he took the hot cup of tea and put it to his mouth to blow and then tasted it. She was on one side with her hands clasped and leaning her body respectfully replied, yes, dare not hide anything from Shifu. Disciple has broken through the 7th level of the Golden Origin Sword Sutra. Hearing this sentence, he was like a thunderbolt in the clear sky, and before he could swallow the tea he spat it out, almost suffocating to death. He was shocked and asked back level 7. He was extremely excited to the point of trembling and grabbed her shoulders and asked again, before you only just broke through the 5th level not long ago. How could it be so fast? Has upgraded 2 levels in a row. She was frightened by this appearance of the Shifu and sweated profusely and spoke to appease, you don't be so excited, listen to disciples slowly say. He knew that his actions were a bit too much, so he raised his hand and pretended to cough to regain his style. Again turned around and stroked his beard, said, could it be that you and Jinshaoqi met that high person already? What? She saw that her Shifu had calmed down, then took her hand and wiped the sweat on her forehead and spoke to acknowledge, what you guessed is not wrong. I and little Shimmy accidentally found the hermitage of Senior Yi. Duan again took a scroll of painting from his sleeve and continued, more female also got a portrait of the senior. Then respectfully presented it to him and continued to explain. Disciple, after admiring, was able to break through. He turned his head and looked at the scroll of the painting with a contemplative look. Only then picked it up and said, let the 6 show see try. He opened the portrait to near halfway, then the painting suddenly shone dazzlingly. Again opened the whole portrait, then it shone even more brightly, and along with that was a huge power came over and made him exclaim in shock, this. Looking at the picture and the lightning it shot out, he shouted again, this is. At Jinshaoqi in Changqing's yard, he was sitting in front of the Go board and was playing unfinished, while Bingxin was standing on one side and learning. She looked at the hand holding the Go piece raised, and the pupils were sparkling like stars. He was a little uncomfortable because he was always being stared at, and suppressed his anger and asked, Yen miss, what are you looking at me for? She blushed and happily smiled brightly and replied, nothing senior, you play your Go, I just want to watch. He squinted his eyes and looked suspiciously towards her, who was showing an extremely worshipful attitude towards himself to the point of shining and sparkling, and thought, what's going on? From after this Miss Yen looked at my Go game, the attitude towards me is really changed 360 degrees. After that, every day Chan Qing was treated like an elder, respectfully with him. Every morning would greet him, Yi Xianxing, good morning, he asked in surprise. It seems that you get up earlier than me is right. After that, then cleaned the bathroom and courtyard. He stood in front of the house and called out to the yard, you don't have to clean the bathroom. She held the broom with great effort and replied, it's okay, I'm not tired. Then again went to clean up the shelves in the house. He saw the situation was a bit strange and spoke to try to dissuade, Yen miss, rest a bit. She seemed not to understand his heart, and replied, it's okay, I'm not tired. After a few days, he looked at her who was wholeheartedly pouring tea and helplessly speculated in his heart. The most unusual thing must be something strange. Could it be that she also wants to buy my paintings at a low price? What? She did not know the speculations in Changqing's heart, still happily smiled brilliantly, took the teacup to his place, and then invited tea. Yi Xianxing, please drink tea. He frowned warily, thinking, or rather, she had fallen for his handsome appearance, lusted after his body, unable to escape. Saying this, he revealed a proud look, smoothing his hair to appear suave. His face flushed with shy embarrassment, but also with confidence. He continued to think with a smile, then I can't treat her badly. He placed the chess piece and called out to her, Yan Gunyang. He winked and enthusiastically raised his hand, saying, how about we go out and buy some ingredients later? Today, I must make my special braised pork that I've recently researched. In the Tiaxiao town market, adults and children bustled about, lively and cheerful. Changqing walked with her to the market, and everyone waved hello to him warmly. Die Xianxing, hello Die Xianxing. He also friendly and happily waved back. Arriving at a vegetable stall, he stopped, while she stood afar, praising him in her heart, worthy of being a senior. His actions and demeanor are elegant and graceful. Wherever he goes, he is respected. At this moment, he was arguing non-stop with the stall owner over a few copper coins, his face flushed with anger. Such vegetables, and you dare to sell them for 8 copper coins per half kilogram? Are the leaves made of gold or the roots made of gold? The stall owner also angrily shouted, you think it's expensive? I think it's still cheap. Tell me, do you want it or not? But this image, in Bingxin's eyes, was of someone incredibly harmonious with everyone. She thought, clearly a peerless powerhouse, yet so humble and harmonious. He stopped at the meat stall, and the owner cheerfully asked, Die Xianxing, what are you buying today? He replied, 1 kilogram of top-grade pork belly. The owner responded, okay. He then cut a piece of meat and tied it with string. Handing it to him, he said, Die Xianxing, are you bringing your wife along today? He was about to take the meat when these words startled him into a daze, while her head had already become a volcano. Erupting. She covered her face, which was as red as a GAC fruit, and shyly shot out a few hearts, thinking, wife, is he talking about me? He hurriedly explained, you're thinking too much, Yan Gunyang is my guest. Behind him, she was still blushing, floating on cloud 9. The owner, not quite convinced, continued to tease, I heard from Granny One next door that the two of you were making a lot of noise at home a few days ago. Remember to take care of your body. Hearing this, black lines filled his head. He turned to her, scratching his head and blushing, explaining, Yan Gunyang, the people of Tiaxiao town are simple and honest, their language is a bit straightforward. Diemo knows you have to return to the capital, I hope you don't hold it against them. Her face flushed and shy, she replied, it's nothing. As he walked ahead, his face turned ashen with black lines, thinking, please go back to the capital, eldest Mississippi. A small household like mine really can't afford to keep you. She walked behind, happily lost in the thought of becoming someone's wife. At this moment, it was quite noisy near Changqing's house. Everyone was frightened by the fierce group of people shouting, get out of the way. These people were burly, holding knives, and their faces were like pig heads, looking mean and fierce. One of them sniffed with his pig nose. Then he said loudly, pointing in one direction, Boss, I've smelled the aura of He Huang. Then the one called Boss exploded with power, transforming into his original form, a wild boar. He said sinisterly, good, as long as we bring back this shameless, despicable bastard He Huang, Chihua Wang will definitely reward us brothers. They brandished their knives, laughing loudly together and discussing excitedly. He Huang is seriously injured and has been forced back into his original form. This fortune is ours. Approaching the door of Changqing's house, one of them raised his foot and kicked the door open. The leader stepped forward and shouted, little black bastard, get out here for me. Today, you'll die without a burial place. Seeing this, He Huang said, you stupid pigs, you're not so bold, daring to chase me here. At this moment, they rushed in. The leader shouted, he's already been forced back into his original form, what are you pretending for? You guys go. Seeing them rush up, He Huang quickly unleashed his power, transforming into a strong, muscular wolf, roaring, in my master's dojo, even if that Chihua comes here personally, he's nothing. I originally didn't want to kill, but you just kicked down my master's door, the path is narrower now. Then, from inside the house, came miserable cries for help. Boss, save me! My demon core is shattered! In the main hall of the Taishuan Holy Land, Changming was respectfully listening to the Holy Lord's teachings. Changming, you are the holy son that our sect has painstakingly cultivated, hoping that you will take over as Holy Lord in the next term. This time, a great power attained enlightenment in Tiaxiao town. What do you think? He bowed and reporting to the Holy Lord, judging from the actions of this high-ranking person, it seems that he has no hostility towards our Taishuan Holy Land. I guess he's just passing by, or perhaps he's just living in seclusion here. The Holy Lord agreed with his idea and continued, if it really is an ancestor of our sect descending to the mortal realm, our Taishuan Holy Land will definitely prosper for 100,000 years. Suddenly, someone outside frantically pushed the door open and shouted, Holy Lord, Senior Brother. This person was none other than Yuanjian, excitedly running in while shouting, Holy Lord, Senior Brother. Followed by Wushuang quickly entering the hall. She looked at her master's actions and could only sigh. The Holy Lord turned to look and asked, Yuanjian, Junior Brother, didn't you bring those new disciples back already? Suddenly, as if sensing something, he said loudly, That's not right. He looked at the light of his advancement, and exclaimed in surprise, You broke through. Seeing this, his eyes sparkled and he said, You've been stuck in this realm for 2 years, why now? Before he could finish, he eagerly interjected, holding up a portrait of Chongqing and shouting, Breaking through or not doesn't matter, look at this. He didn't quite understand and asked, This is a painting, what's special about it? As he leaned closer, golden light carrying immense power radiated from the painting, causing the Holy Lord to be stunned. Golden lightning bolts flew from the painting into the air. The painting was like a battle formation, creating an illusion of Chongqing with shining eyes, surrounded by sword lights pointing upwards, looking extremely imposing. The Holy Lord and Yuanjian stood next to the painting, their clothes and hair billowing from its power. He looked at the painting and exclaimed in astonishment, What is this situation? Above, the illusion controlled the sword lights, pointing downwards. Then they surged down like a tide. Yuanjian cried out and said, What's happening? Where is this sword intent coming from? Wushuang, now frightened, called out, Holy Lord, close the painting first. He immediately shouted, Close it. The painting was finally closed. After struggling to close the painting, the Holy Lord panted for breath. He held the painting, the veins on the back of his hand bulging. Looking around, sword lights filled the hall, and everyone was horrified. He looked back at the sword lights and thought, The swords are gone. Each sword shattered into pieces, disappearing into the air without a trace, as if they had never existed. The Holy Lord patted his shoulder and enthusiastically said, Yuanjian, Junior Brother, where did you get this painting? The sword intent contained within has completely transcended my understanding. He looked towards her, frowning seriously, and replied, It's best to let Wushuang speak. She went before him, bowed, and reporting to the Holy Lord, this painting was bestowed by the high-ranking senior of Tiaxiao town. Her face was still frightened from what had happened earlier, and the sweat hadn't dried yet as she continued to report. The senior also allows this disciple to seek guidance at any time in the future. Changming suddenly exclaimed, Sixth junior sister, is what you're saying true? She solemnly and certainly replied, Absolutely no falsehoods. Junior sister Wang, who went with me, can also testify. Hearing this, the Holy Lord laughed heartily. Yuanjian and Changming, without prior agreement, revealed confused and somewhat foolish expressions, asking, Holy Lord, why are you laughing? He continued to laugh for a while. Then he said, Our Taishuan Holy Land is blessed. Granddaughter Wushuang, a painting from this great power can guide your master's cultivation to break through, and also allow you to seek guidance at any time. Do you know what this proves? She respectfully replied, This disciple is ignorant, please explain, Holy Lord. He stopped laughing and seriously explained, It proves that the one you met is 8 or 9 parts likely to be the ascended ancestor of our sect. Being able to seek guidance at any time further indicates that the old man cannot leave Tiaxiao town for the time being. Saying this, he put on a look of joy and continued, Our Taishuan Holy Land is about to take off. He turned and pointed towards her, announcing something that stunned her, Wushuang, starting from today, you are the Holy Maiden, equal to the Holy Son, Li Changming, of our Taishuan Holy Land. Hearing this, she collected herself and cried out in joy, "What?" He also exclaimed loudly in surprise, but his emotions were completely opposite to hers. Perhaps it was excessive surprise that made his eyes roll back and his mouth gape open. Unable to close, his face filled with black lines, or perhaps he felt that his position in the Taishuan Holy Land was being threatened. In the square of the Taishuan Holy Land, people passed by in droves. Everyone was discussing the matter of conferring the Holy Maiden. I heard that 6th senior sister of the Sword Spirit Peak has been conferred as the Holy Maiden. Isn't the Holy Lord's action a bit too hasty? Junior Sister Wang walked while paying attention to those discussions, while she walked straight on her way with a serious face. Around them, the discussions became more numerous. Originally, it was thought that senior brother Li Changming was the successor appointed by the Holy Lord. This time, it's hard to say. Senior brother Li has been cultivating so hard, I'm afraid he's about to be driven mad. Hearing these words, Junior Sister Wang looked towards her, curiously asking, "Senior Sister, does the Holy Lord really want you to replace Senior Brother Changming's position?" She walked ahead without turning her head and replied, "Although I have the talent for immortal cultivation, I am a single attribute spiritual root, and originally do not have the qualifications to become a holy maiden." But she raised her hand to stroke her chin thoughtfully. "The Holy Lord's conferral this time is probably valuing the promise that Dia Senior gave me." Junior Sister Wang widened her eyes and asked cutely, "Is that so? Even the Holy Lord thinks that handsome shop owner is very powerful?" She thought of Changqing shining brightly and said resolutely, "Although my abilities are not enough now, as long as I seek guidance from Dia Senior a few more times, I will definitely possess the strength and qualifications of a true holy maiden." Somewhere, dark circles had appeared under Changming's eyes, and he asked listlessly, "Why?" He hugged a tree and sobbed, lamenting, "Why did Master make Junior Sister Wu Shuang the holy maiden?" He leaned against the tree, tears streaming down his face, unsure whether he was crying or angry and unwilling, unaware that someone behind him had noticed him. Then the girl walked over, sat next to him, and put her hand on his shoulder, comforting, "Senior brother, don't worry. Maybe Lu Shuang received a few disciples with top-grade spiritual roots when she went to Tiaxiao Town. The Holy Lord only conferred her to reward her." Hearing this, he immediately stopped crying as if awakened, thinking, "Tiaxiao Town, that's right. It must be because Junior Sister Wu Shuang met the ancestor who descended to the mortal realm in Tiaxiao Town that she obtained the opportunity." He stood up, his face extremely despicable, smiling, and lightning flashed around him, making him even more sinister. The girl sitting next to him didn't understand what was happening to him. He mobilized the spiritual energy around his hand, waving it. He shouted loudly, "Where is my sword?" The spiritual energy around him surged, immediately summoning his sword. Before the girl could understand what was happening, she was hit by his spiritual energy, her clothes and hair billowing uncomfortably. Changming flew on his sword, flying fast, and said excitedly as if he had realized something, "I am a genius with top-grade dual-attribute spiritual roots. The ancestor will definitely reward me. If he is willing to give me some guidance, then Junior Sister Wu Shuang will no longer be a threat to me." So, a dark shadow suddenly appeared in the sky above the Taishuan Holy Land, flying out on a sword extremely fast. Back in Tiaxiao Town, Changqing walked along, humming a song softly, followed closely by Bingxin, carrying a wooden bucket. He suddenly turned around and asked, "That's right, Yan Gunyang, you still haven't told me, why were you sleeping in my bed that day?" She shyly blushed and replied, "I don't know either. While lying down and sleeping, I only felt itchy all over." Opening her eyes, she saw Dia Xianxing still touching her, and at the same time, she remembered that feeling, becoming even more embarrassed. Hearing this, he was a little ashamed and still explained in shock, "Stop, don't talk nonsense, I didn't do anything." Just as he finished speaking, she grabbed his outstretched hand. Looking directly into his eyes, making him extremely embarrassed, his face turning even redder, she said, "I understand, Dia Xianxing. A person of your level is naturally not interested in such base things. Our meeting must be a divine arrangement." Saying this, her eyes immediately shone even brighter. Hearing this, his whole body stiffened, his eyes only showing the whites, his head filled with black lines, his cheeks still blushing, thinking, did she misunderstand something? I'm very interested in such base things. Just thinking about it, His dog ears almost came out, his face never more despicable than at this moment. Then he forcefully pursed his lips, shedding a tear. Again curling his fist, sobbing and crying like rain, he thought, it's just a pity that I don't have cultivation, and facing the eldest miss of the capital's wealthy family, I really don't dare to act. While she still had bright, worshipful eyes, unaware of Changqing's dirty thoughts. Suddenly, he noticed something in front of his house. Looking at the trembling figure of Changming in front of him, he wondered, who is that? He was now in a state of anxiety. How could this be? Suddenly, he screamed, this Tiaoxiao town, why does it have a demon beast of this level? 15 minutes ago, Changming flew on his sword to Tiaoxiao town. When he clearly sensed the abundant spiritual energy, he exclaimed, as Master said, the spiritual veins under Tiaoxiao town have been reactivated. After thinking, he flew his sword downwards. In front of his house. He landed and said, found it. As he spoke, he paid attention to the dense spiritual energy around this house. This was the place with the densest fortune. Looking at the sign that said Changqing's General Store, he seemed to notice something strange and said, this sign. He realized something and exclaimed, not good. As soon as he finished speaking, a sword suddenly flew out of the store. The sword easily pierced through him. He also desperately supported himself, panting, thinking, even though I don't cultivate the sword path, I can still feel the immense power contained within. Junior sister Wu Shuang must have obtained an opportunity here. I really came to the right place. Thinking this, he clasped his hands. He bowed and pleaded, Li Changming, holy son of the Taishuan Holy Land, seeks an audience with the ancestor of our sect. Then no one spoke. Time seemed to freeze for him, the space fading, as if only the sound of crows remained. Because he didn't see anyone speak, he looked inside in confusion and wondered secretly, could it be that the ancestor has gone out? Although it's inappropriate to enter the ancestor's residence at will, I concealed it from Master and came out. There's not much time to waste here. After thinking, he walked in quickly. Again, he made up his mind, this time, I will definitely gain something. He took steps inside. Seeing a black shadow in the distance, he greeted, I am Li Changming, a disciple of the Taishuan Holy Sect. Before he could finish speaking, he managed to discover that the black shadow was all fur and had a tail, with lightning surrounding its body. Below, scattered corpses of demon beasts were no longer breathing. Sensing someone behind him, He Huang turned his head, the light flashing red dangerously. Then he quickly flew towards him, wanting to attack. Seeing this, he widened his eyes in fear and screamed, Demon King! Then his legs went soft and he fell to the floor, his butt landing with a loud thud, sounding painful. His face paled with fear, trembling as he gradually crawled backwards, saying, Why is there a wild beast of the Demon King level appearing in a small Tiaoxiao town? Changming had successfully crawled outside, but before he could breathe a sigh of relief, a hand landed on his shoulder. Changqing loomed behind him, his face cold, his eyes shining brightly, looking more dangerous than the beast inside. He was frightened and screamed, his hands already displaying the orchid finger gesture, looking extremely delicate and graceful. Looking again, he had a smile, becoming kind and glowing like a Buddha, saying, This young master, what's wrong? He pointed towards the store, trembling and stammering, in this house there's. He asked in confusion, What's in my store? Hearing this, he was even more frightened. Your store? He stood up and reassured him, It's okay. He again picked up the basket of vegetables and continued, I am the owner of this general store. Is there anything strange in the house? Saying this, he went into the house to check. He crawled on the ground, calling after him, Wait, it's dangerous. He peered into the store and said, Let me see. At this moment, he was shocked to see the scene inside and cried out. Inside, all the wild boar corpses lay scattered. He and Bingxin went in together, looking confused, thinking, Why are there so many wild boars? Suddenly, he cried out again and said, I understand. Then he turned and handed the basket of fruit to her, saying, Yan Gunyang, please help me put these ingredients in the back kitchen. She agreed and took the basket. Then he turned to look at him and called, This young master. I think you've misunderstood. While she hummed a little song towards the kitchen, he asked back uneasily, Misunderstood? Misunderstood what? He explained, My small store occasionally collects some mountain products, but never wild boars. At this moment, at Changqing's general store, The store owner appeared again, enthusiastically introducing, "My small store occasionally collects some mountain products, but never wild boars." Hearing this, Changming suddenly felt confused. What does he mean? Not collecting wild boars? Is he asking me to help him clean up the corpses of the great demons in this room? He Huang suddenly appeared, coming to Changqing and barking loudly. The light in his eyes suddenly flashed, quickly chasing after, while shouting loudly, "It's him, it's him!" Changqing smiled embarrassedly. "This is a pet I raised, although it's a bit silly, please don't blame it." His eyes stared fiercely and provocatively at Changming. Can bring a monster of the Demon King level back as a pet, could it be? Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. Respectfully bowing, Li Changming, a disciple of the Taishuan Holy Land, pays respects to Senior. "I have come here specifically today to seek guidance." His eyes were full of shock. Again, someone from the Taishuan Holy Land, calling me Senior doesn't seem like anything good. Last time, that girl used 3 copper coins to exchange for a painting of mine. This time, he doesn't even want to give me money, taking out wild boars to barter with instead. Are all cultivators so stingy? But these wild boars are quite plump, selling them to Zhang the butcher, one could be worth 7 or 8 taels. Why isn't the ancestor speaking? Is it because I entered his residence without permission? Is the old man thinking about how to deal with me? Oh no, it must be because I made Senior unhappy. 1 pig is worth 8 taels, for 8s are 27. Rounding up, it's 30 taels. So, a big profit. Thinking this, Changqing's spirits suddenly lifted, and he patted Changming on the shoulder. "No, no, quickly stand up." Then he gave a friendly smile, feeling extremely happy in his heart. It seems that immortal cultivation also speaks reason. He immediately inquired, "Did you come to ask for a painting?" He widened his eyes in surprise, wondering in his heart, a painting? Could it be the top-grade sacred object that junior sister Wu Shuang showed master? He immediately clapped his hands, expressing his agreement. "You're right, this junior came for that." He cheerfully pointed the way, "Then please come this way." In his heart, Changqing was also very kind. Since he gave me so many wild boars, I have to be serious too. Changming was secretly happy. The ancestor is so easy to talk to. Unexpectedly he has already guessed who I am. The identity of the Holy Son with dual attribute spiritual roots, rarely seen in 1,000 years, is the most beautiful person in the Taishuan Holy Land for 30 consecutive years. Thinking of this, his eyes sparkled. Playing happily under the setting sun of the Taishuan Holy Land, that is my youth without regrets. Changqing quickly opened his mouth. "Young masterly, what words do you need?" "Smooth sailing, heaven helps those who help themselves, harmony brings prosperity to all things." Seeing that he didn't answer, only smiling foolishly, he couldn't help but wonder, why is this young man so dull? I was originally worried about being seen by him in my true form. Who knew he would be a brainless idiot? Changqing couldn't help but worry when he saw He Huang's gaze towards Changming. In front of the master, don't be rude. Wake up a bit. Before he could reprimand it, it bit him hard on the hand. He immediately showed concern. "What's wrong?" He shook his head slightly, flustered, and replied, "Nothing, just continue to perform, Your Eminence." This junior is full of anticipation. Hearing this, he immediately started writing. "Alright, then I'll show off a bit." Just then, 9th Princess also appeared, greeting him with a smile. "Senior, the items you ordered are ready." She was suddenly extremely surprised and exclaimed, "Senior wants to write calligraphy? Senior, let me help you grind the ink." Changqing nodded in agreement. "Then I'll trouble Yen Gunyang." Changming was suddenly shooed away mercilessly. "Move, move!" Bing Xian seemed very excited to grind the ink. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at him. Before, I was deeply immersed in watching Senior Ye's chess game. If it's calligraphy, I wonder what endless legal principles and truths it contains. Changqing swirled the ink while recalling, at that time, the distance between my brush and the paper was only 0.01 meters. But after a quarter of the incense stick's time, anyone who looks at that calligraphy painting will completely adore me. His body and the painting seemed to have become one, making Bing Xian easily recognize that Yi Xianxing had completely fallen into it, while Changming was extremely admiring. This was probably a once-in-a-lifetime creation for him. The strokes that Changqing was painting began to take shape, causing him to exclaim in surprise, "This is Chang Ming and Bing Xin seemed to be transported to a magnificent mountain forest scene. It was so vivid that they could see the ninth princess's hair fluttering in the wind. She stared blankly while exclaiming, "The vast and magnificent atmosphere when Senior Yi wields his brush like a god seems to put me in the role." Chang Ming also cheered excitedly, "I feel it. I feel Senior Yi holding the brush, dipping the ink, releasing his true intentions and pure energy. No, it's luck." He was suddenly startled when he saw the scene before him. It's exactly Qi Bian Ou Bian, Fu Shao Kan Xiang Xian. The marvel of change lies in the unexpected within the constant. The talisman reveals limited aspects of the boundless phenomena. Finally, Chang Qing stopped writing. Massaging his shoulders, he looked pleased. Not bad performance. He turned to look at the two people. "What's wrong with you two again?" Seeing that they still had no reaction, Chang Qing gently approached and placed his hand on their shoulders. "Why are you two standing still like statues? I say, Li Gongzi, you've been going crazy like this 3 times today. If you're sick, you should go get treated quickly." He suddenly woke up and said respectfully, "Senior's realm is transcendent and saintly. This junior has gained a lot of benefits." He immediately appeared humble. Some low talents, not very skilled. Even though he was happy in his heart, finally there was a smart one. He then rolled up the calligraphy, quickly handing it to Chang Ming. "This is a gift for you." He bowed his head in response. "Thank you, Senior. Please, Senior, name this calligraphy." Chang Qing quickly pretended to be pensive. "Originally, I painted it to thank you for your gift. Just call it Holy Xia. Later gift thanks." Chang Ming had to spend time thinking again. Ho means later virtue, bearing things. Li symbolizes reciprocity. Senior is worthy of being a great power sect master ascending to the upper realm. He can actually speak such profound language. But I follow the Holy Lord Shizuan to cultivate the Tao of longevity. But this calligraphy contains supreme sword luck. Could it be that Shizu is still implying to me that previous cultivation was all wrong? No wonder my cultivation has been stagnating for years and not progressing. Could it be that my goal should be the Tao of the sword? Chang Qing also explained, "I can't help you with the rest. Take it back and think about it yourself." Chang Ming hesitated this. Then he secretly thought, Shizu is still reminding me to quickly recognize my original intention and figure out a path. Immediately clenched his fist, showing determination. After saying goodbye to the two people, Chang Ming couldn't escape his train of thought and called out, "But giving up cultivating the Tao of longevity is equivalent to giving up the position of Holy Sun." "Sorry, Senior, I need to think carefully." Chang Qing felt puzzled. What is he talking about? I just told him to take the calligraphy back to decorate his mansion. After returning to the Holy Land, seeing the Holy Lord Shizuan enjoying a cup of hot tea, Chang Ming had just arrived in the courtyard. Immediately approached him. "Shizuan, this disciple is unfilial." Then he burst into tears. "You must have seen early on that this disciple couldn't take on the position of Holy Sun, right?" Chang Xian felt disappointed. Chang Ming had been cultivated as the Holy Sun since he was young. Now suddenly there was another holy maiden. Perhaps he was also very worried. He gently walked to his side. "Chang Ming, don't think so negatively. Now, this teacher won't hide anything from you anymore." He stammered, "No, Shizuan, this disciple doesn't mean that." Chang Xian gently explained, "You don't know, the Shizu who lives in seclusion in Shaoqi town cares very much about Wu Shuang, and is willing to guide her at any time. That senior's cultivation is unfathomably high, making people tremble. Tai Xian Holy Land might have already been monitored by him." Shizuan had no choice but to come up with this last resort. Chang Ming immediately interrupted, "Please listen to this disciple." He turned to look, placing his hand on his shoulder. "I hope you can understand the difficulties of this teacher." Even if Chang Ming tries to explain, "Shizuan, this disciple understands, but please listen to this disciple." Chang Xian knew there was no avoiding it and replied sadly, "Speak." He immediately seized the opportunity. Actually, this disciple went to see that senior today. A silent atmosphere suddenly enveloped the two people. He flew into a rage, giving Chang Ming a slap. "Reckless!" He covered his face and said aggrievedly, "Shizuan, why did you hit this disciple?" Chang Xian angrily scolded, "If the ancestor is in seclusion, it's obvious that he doesn't want to be disturbed. You didn't know and went there on your own initiative. If you angered him, it would bring disaster to our entire sect." He quickly explained, but that senior wasn't angry. On the contrary, he gave this disciple a calligraphy painting. Hearing this, he changed his expression and urgently ordered, "What? Quickly bring it here for me to see." Chang Ming respectfully presented it with both hands. "Shizhuan, the senior has implied to this disciple in the painting that it seems that my cultivation path has been chosen wrongly." Chang Xian glanced around and still didn't see anything special. Such an ordinary painting scroll wasn't even as beautiful as that girl Wu Shuang's. The ancestor was just doing it casually. This silly boy Chang Ming actually believed it was real. "Chang Ming, remember choosing you as the holy son. You can only, and are only suitable for, cultivating the high-level mysteries, the Tao of longevity of this sect with this teacher." Seeing that he was still wholeheartedly believing it, but, he immediately interrupted, "No buts. The ancestor gave a very beautiful painting to Wu Shuang, which indeed contains the great Tao sword intent that Wu Shuang cultivates. This painting of yours is just a piece of Xian paper." Obviously, the ancestor felt that. As soon as he opened the paper, he felt the wonderful things inside. Inside it contained a profound piece of advice. "Qi bian ou bu bian, fu shao kan xiang xian." The marvel of change lies in the unexpected within the constant. The talisman reveals limited aspects of the boundless phenomena. Tears suddenly streamed down his face. The ancestor is indeed an unpredictable figure. He uses this simple poem to profoundly convey the truth of sword luck to Chang Ming. This old man has also seen Wu Shuang's painting. Although the realm inside is extremely high, it's fundamentally incomparable to the one that the senior gave to Chang Ming. Could it be said that Chang Ming is really suitable for cultivating the sword? At this time, tears were also streaming down his cheeks. Seeing Chang Xian standing silently in thought, he panicked and called out, "Shizhuan, Shizhuan." He suddenly woke up when he heard the call. Chang Ming blankly asked, "Shizhuan, what's wrong with you?" He took his hand and said gently, "Chang Ming, you were right just now. The senior is still implying to you that your level on the path of the sword is even higher than that girl Wu Shuang's." Chang Ming asked hesitantly, "So Shizhuan's meaning is?" Chang Xian nodded slightly. "You and I, as the Holy Lord and Holy Son of Tai Xian land, must not go against the senior's wishes. Starting today, you will use Qi bian ou bu bian, fu shao kan xiang xian this motto as the origin of your sword heart and change to the Tao of the sword. Go." Hearing this, he immediately bowed his head. This disciple obeys. Chang Ming immediately set off. Chang Xian also stopped at the door, watching with regretful eyes, trying to say loudly, "You must remember the senior's expectations for you." At this time, he also turned his head to look back gratefully. This disciple understands. Chang Ming's figure gradually disappeared. Everyone had gathered, calling out, "Holy Lord Shixiang." Qin Yi asked curiously, "What's the matter with summoning us so urgently?" Chang Xian immediately announced, "My only disciple, the seed of the Tao of longevity of Tai Xian Holy Land." The three people sadly asked each other, "What's wrong with Shixiang?" "I don't know. Maybe he had internal deviations and became possessed last night while practicing child labor." He immediately lowered his voice. "All right, be quiet. This old man has two things to discuss with you today. First, this old man said 2 days ago that he wanted to confer the title of Holy Maiden of our Tai Xian Holy Land on that girl Wu Shuang, but not abolish the Holy Son. Instead, he wants to use this Holy Maiden to draw closer the relationship with the senior of Shaoqi Town. The second thing I want to talk about. In a month, the martial arts conference of the two great holy lands of Taixian, Ziqing, held once every 10 years, will be opened. The opponents are all top players. The outstanding young people of the Ziqing Holy Land will compete with the Holy Lord of Ziqing, Zijitian, at our Taixian Mountain. During this time, please urge your disciples to cultivate diligently, and not be lazy. Qin Yi hurriedly asked, "Holy Lord Shixiang, in the martial arts conferences of the previous few sessions, the disciples were considered to have wins and losses. But the contest of chess skills between you and Zijitian has never been won." Yuan Jian quickly added, "That's right, Shixiang, the one who needs to cultivate diligently the most is probably you." Everyone kept mentioning old things, causing Chang Xian to feel resentful. Losing once is a mid-grade spirit treasure, and 10,000-year-old herbs. All my assets are lost. Or, in the Holy Lord's martial arts conference, don't show up. We'll say you're in closed-door cultivation. He immediately flew into a rage. "What are you talking about? Is this old man afraid of losing spirit treasures and herbs? This old man just feels that Zijitian's 4 dragons spitting water can read the myriad transformations in the game. It's truly rare in this world. I just want to observe it a few more times. You are not people who like to play chess. You won't understand. I can't solve it. I can't solve it at all. Yuan Jian smiled. Shixiang, perhaps the senior of Shaoxi town has a way to break the game. Chang Xian asked curiously, is this true? He quickly added, think about it. That senior's cultivation is profound. He's probably lived for tens of thousands of years. His knowledge is naturally not something that we can imagine. In our eyes, that unfathomable chess game is probably just a children's game to the senior. Chang Xian immediately made a decision. All right. That's great. Shidi Yuan Jian is very reasonable. To someone like that senior, focusing on cultivating the state of mind and playing chess is one of the best ways. In his heart, he also had a plan. I can also take this opportunity to visit this senior and ask him for a few tricks. On a high cliff of the cultivation world, Lu Wu Shuang was practicing her skills. People outside could only vaguely see the flashes of the sword moving so fast that their eyes couldn't follow. Her figure moved gracefully and quickly, leaving only a few afterimages along her path. She kept wielding her sword, cutting each tree into many pieces. Each slash of her was powerful and decisive. The blade swept through the air, leaving streaks of purple light that descended with powerful blows. Lu Wu Shuang landed very flexibly, worthy of being an excellent student of her teachers. After she finished practicing, Lu Wu Shuang sheathed her sword. When the sword and the sheath touched each other, they immediately emitted a purple aura all around. She gradually focused her mind after a series of strong exercises. Immediately after, a round of applause was heard, attracting her attention. Not bad, not bad. I didn't expect that you would be so proficient in the 7th layer of the Metal Origin Sword scripture. Seeing that the person who came was Chang Xianjinren, Lu Wu Shuang immediately saluted, greetings, Holy Lord. The Holy Lord is too kind. It's all thanks to Senior Ye's guidance in the past that allowed this disciple to have new insights into the path of the sword. After hearing her answer, Qin Xianjinren also showed a satisfied expression and stroked his beard, informing her that this old man and the elders had discussed and decided that after the end of the martial arts conference of the 2 great holy lands of Taixian and Ziqing, they would officially hold a grand ceremony to confer the title of Holy Maiden. Hearing this, Lu Wu Shuang immediately expressed, this disciple will follow the arrangements of the Holy Lord. Qin Xianjinren didn't react, and just turned his head to cough a few times, causing Lu Wu Shuang to be full of question marks. He suddenly asked about Yi Changqing. That's right, what do you think of the temperament of that senior in Shaoxi town? Recalling the ignorant appearance of Yi Changqing, who didn't seem like a highly accomplished person at all, that she had met before. Lu Wu Shuang pondered for a moment after receiving the question and replied, Senior Ye's cultivation is unfathomably high, and he treats people and things with extreme humility, respect and elegance. After hearing this, Qin Xianjinren covered his face and laughed loudly. Girl, you're still too young and don't understand the intentions of high-level people. Perhaps the senior saw your aptitude and that's why he likes you so much. Seeing Qin Xianjinren's speculation, Lu Wu Shuang didn't understand if he had mistaken it for some other type of affection, and her face turned red, her heart beat faster and faster. Her eyes were full of love and hearts were shooting everywhere. Likes me? Is it true? Qin Xianjinren didn't pay attention to Lu Wu Shuang's expression. He continued to say, this old man has prepared generous gifts and is preparing to go to Shaoxi town to visit that senior. He turned his head back and continued to instruct Lu Wu Shuang that, to be safe, he invited you to be the introducer to go with me. Lu Wu Shuang respectfully replied, I obey. Immediately after, she couldn't control herself, appearing shy like a girl from a family who was going on a date for the first time, blushing as she thought. I didn't expect that I would be able to meet Senior Yi again so quickly. Before leaving, Qin Xianjinren still turned around and gave Lu Wu Shuang one last instruction. Remember, in front of the senior, don't address this old man as the Holy Lord to avoid messing up the seniority. Just say I'm an elder in your family. Lu Wu Shuang respectfully accepted the order. Not long after that, on the other side, at Yi Changqing's house, he was sitting at the tea table in the courtyard, tinkering with something, while Yen Bing Xian was sweeping the yard on one side. In contrast to Yen Bing Xian, who was sweeping and humming happily, Yi Changqing was holding the brush tightly in his hand and trembling as if he was suppressing something. The broom in Yen Bing Xian's hand was operating at full capacity under her excited mood to clean. It was waving so strongly that it caused dust to fly all over the place, even flying onto Yi Changqing's face, making his face wrinkle even more than a monkey's butt. Unable to bear this situation anymore, Yi Changqing turned to Yen Bing Xian and said, "Miss Yen, take a rest." Regarding his suggestion, Yen Bing Xian immediately refused with a face full of vitality. "It's okay, Senior Yi, I'm not tired." Yi Changqing directly grabbed the broom handle and repeated the suggestion once again. "Or take a rest." His face was so miserable as if he wanted to say, "You're not tired, but I'm too tired. Why is this housemaid so enthusiastic?" While he was saying, he snatched the broom from Yen Bing Xian's hand, not letting her show off anymore. He complained in his heart, "All the dust you swept up was sucked up by me." But Yi Changqing's actions in Yen Bing Xian's eyes became him caring about her, which made her heart flutter and her face gradually turn red, like Ryu, "Love is here. Mr. Yi really treats me well." As if she was given more motivation, she immediately went to take on other housework. "Then I'll go cook." This sentence made Yi Changqing standing on the side immediately turn to stone. He hurriedly shouted before she could turn the whole house to gold, "Don't! You should still sit down." Although she was still a little dazed, Yen Bing Xian still obediently did as he said. Yi Changqing looked at Yen Bing Xian with a face full of contempt, thinking, "It's really like an ancestor falling from the sky, unable to do anything, but best at eating. Unfortunately, I can't afford to offend her. I can only be angry." Yi Changqing couldn't swallow this anger, and tears fell in despair. He held the pen and stabbed it hard into the table, causing the bristles at the tip of the pen to split in many directions like a feather duster. Annoyed, he thought, "I said I would only stay for a few days and leave. When will I finally leave? The rich family doesn't have much food left." Yi Changqing couldn't control himself and trembled. While thinking, while Yen Bing Xian on the side was curious and excited about everything around her. A sunny afternoon, clear and shimmering. In front of the gate of Shiaoi town. A group of tough guys with bulging muscles and very criminal postures were gathered there to prepare to enter the town to collect debts. Oh, no, to reclaim someone. A young teenager among them was holding a jade talisman and ran to the leader to report, "Prefectural Lord, the jade spirit talisman shows that the 9th princess is in this town." The man called Prefectural Lord immediately ordered the group to enter the town. They didn't realize that as soon as they crossed the town gate, they had passed through a purple barrier. As soon as he set foot in the town, the teenager holding the jade spirit talisman suddenly discovered a strange phenomenon. She exclaimed in horror, "What's going on?" The jade spirit talisman suddenly stopped lighting up. Seeming to realize the strange thing, the man immediately looked around to observe. Shiaoi town was originally the spirit pool of the Taishan Holy Land. 80% of it is arranged with some kind of restriction. This seat can feel that it is full of great Tao energy here. Hearing the man say this, a subordinate in the group immediately retorted, "That's not right, sir. I remember that the spiritual energy of this Shiaoi town has been weakening for hundreds of years. Now, why isn't it dry but thicker?" Regarding this issue, the man chose not to care about it anymore and temporarily dismissed it to comfort the group. "This seat is not clear. I don't have time to care about these things now. Finding the 9th princess who has been missing for more than half a month is the most important thing." The man turned back to glare at the subordinate and threw a very terrifying pressure at them, "Otherwise you and I will both lose our heads." With that, he took a deep breath like a movement in a morning exercise. He clasped his hands together and into a posture as if preparing to cast a spell. When the man's hands slowly separated from each other, a small ball of energy appeared between them. Following that, streaks of yellow light appeared in the air, which were streams of spiritual energy. Spiritual energy floated throughout the town and seemed to converge in one place. He followed the golden rays and saw a small house where spiritual energy gathered intensely, immediately becoming vigilant. Seeing this, the man ordered his group, following this spiritual energy might lead to some discoveries. The group followed the flow of spiritual energy until they stopped in front of Yi Changqing's small shop. This was the source of the spiritual energy on the town. "Go inside and investigate." As he spoke, the man was about to approach the small shop. But then he suddenly stopped when he sensed something attacking him. The man immediately jumped aside to dodge. A golden ray struck the spot he had just been standing, creating a large hole in the ground before the astonished eyes of his disciples. Fortunately, the Fu Lord managed to land safely. As soon as the man landed, two figures approached him from afar, and a calm voice rang out. "If this old man is not mistaken, you must be Lu Fuzhu, Lu Changhe of the Royal Knight Manor of Diyan, correct?" The arrivals were Jinren Qinxian and Lu Wushuang. Seeing this, Lu Changhe quickly saluted. "Yes, I didn't expect to meet Taixian Xingzhu here. Forgive my discourtesy." In response to Lu Changhe's words, Jinren Qinxian asked sternly, "Has your excellency forgotten the promise between Taixian's sacred ground and the Diyan royal family not to interfere with each other?" Hearing Jinren Qinxian's questioning, Lu Changhe could only awkwardly explain, "We didn't intend to violate the agreement, but we are searching for the missing 9th princess for many days. So we had no choice but to come here." Knowing the reason given by the other party, Jinren Qinxian glared angrily, like a meme of a cat, and said loudly, "Nonsense! How could your 9th princess come to a place like this?" But soon after, he was karma-slapped as soon as he finished speaking. A voice broke the tense atmosphere between the two sides, attracting the attention of the two leaders, Lu Lao. When the two turned to look in the direction of the voice, they saw a small girl in front of the door of the house. Yan Bingxin, in disheveled clothes and still holding a broom, ran out to greet Lu Changhe with a bright smile. This scene directly gave Lu Changhe psychological trauma. "9th Princess, Your Highness, why are you dressed like this?" Jinren Qinxian was equally surprised. "9th Princess? Are you sure this isn't a cleaning slave?" Lu Changhe roared angrily. "Who dares to confine Her Highness in this place and make her do such hard work? This old servant will definitely let him taste the methods of our Knight Manor." Hearing this, Jinren Qinxian speculated that the person was the old Yi senior he was looking for. Meanwhile, Lu Wushuang covered her mouth, hiding her thoughts when she suddenly saw a cute loli appearing in her beloved's home, which was originally quiet and scenic. Could it be that Yi Chongqing has some special hobby, dressing the noble princess as a cleaning slave? That thought made her blush secretly. At the same time, on the other side, Lu Changhe grabbed Yan Bingxin's hand and pulled her away. "Your Highness, this is the territory of Taixian's sacred ground, we must leave here first. After this, I will send people to hunt down the villain and chop him into 100 pieces." Hearing that someone wanted to hunt down and kill Yi Senior, Jinren Qinxian couldn't help but secretly scold in his heart, "Daring to disrespect the senior of my sect. If it weren't for the sake of the Diyan Emperor, I would definitely teach you a lesson today." But who knew that he wasn't the only one who wanted to hit him here? Yan Bingxin suddenly pulled her hand away from Lu Changhe's grip. "Your Highness!" Lu Changhe was surprised by her action. Yan Bingxin's hand, which had just been withdrawn, hadn't had time to lower, when it suddenly landed a strong slap on one side of Lu Changhe's face, and the tragic sound of a smack rang out in the silent atmosphere. "Shut up!" Yan Bingxin shouted angrily at Lu Changhe. Everyone was surprised by Yan Bingxin's action. Jinren Qinxian and Lu Wushuang, who were watching the drama on the side, were stunned in surprise, while Lu Changhe covered his face, feeling wronged, and shed tears, truly in a fierce interface while his heart was fragile and weak. Yan Bingxin picked up the broom, pointed it straight at Lu Changhe's face, and scolded, speaking so recklessly, "Do you want to lose the 10,000-year-old national fortune of my Diyan?" Lu Changhe still didn't understand why he was slapped. He said aggrievedly, "Your Highness, our Diyan's national fortune is protected by His Majesty and the old ancestor. Your cultivation is still weak. I'm afraid you will be bewitched by wild cultivators from who knows where." Hearing Lu Changhe insult his senior again, this time Jinren Qinxian couldn't help but speak up, "Wild cultivator? Lu Fuzhu's tone is really big. Do you know what kind of person is in this small shop?" Feeling annoyed and having no place to vent his anger, Lu Changhe turned to vent his anger on him when Jinren Qinxian spoke. "Could it be the Kaitian Lao Zu of your Taixian sacred ground? Are you sure?" Different from the noisy quarrel outside, inside the small shop, Hei Huang was comfortably lying in the middle of the house, its front paws occasionally swaying a few times. Hearing the noise from outside, it no longer had the mind to continue resting. It got up and stretched. before deciding to go out to check who it was that wouldn't let people sleep peacefully so early in the morning. As soon as one of its front paws touched the ground, a huge aura of demon power radiated from its foot, attracting the attention of the two big shots standing outside. He Huang walked out, barking angrily as it went, wanting to say who was shouting in front of the door, disturbing this king's beautiful dream. The demon power behind it gradually condensed into the shape of a giant demon beast. Seeing this, Lu Changhe couldn't help but be stunned, his face pale, and he uttered with cold feet, "Demon King. Why is there a Demon King appearing here?" He Huang was still approaching Lu Changhe and Jinren Qianxian step by step. The closer it got, the stronger its demon power affected the two of them. Witnessing the terror of He Huang, Jinren Qianxian also flinched slightly and could only shout at Lu Changhe, "Lu Fuzhu, this old man will temporarily not argue with you. Let's solve this Demon King first, and then talk about it." Lu Changhe also agreed with that suggestion and said, "Absolutely cannot let this demon harm the common people on the town." Regarding Jinren Qianxian and Lu Changhe wanting to cooperate to deal with it, He Huang threw the two guys a contemptuous look with half an eye. "You two old ghosts want to attack me? Then I'll let you know the power of this king." Then the demon beast behind He Huang roared, and the amount of demon power it radiated became increasingly dense. Faced with this threat, Jinren Qianxian and Lu Changhe could only brace themselves to deal with it. But before the two could show off, a fist carrying a dense amount of golden spiritual energy flew from who knows where and landed a strong blow on He Huang's head. After a loud bang, the Demon King, who had just been arrogantly challenging the two big shots, now had to lower its tail and cry miserably. Yi Changqing stood next to it, pointed at its face, and scolded, "He Huang, are you itchy again? Dogs that bite people indiscriminately will be harmlessly disposed of." Faced with Yi Changqing's scolding, He Huang could only use its sparkling, teary eyes as if to say, "Are you scolding me? Are you scolding so loudly?" They were the ones who made a fuss first, and they hit people without saying anything. Witnessing this, Lu Changhe and Jinren Qianxian were so shocked that they were paralyzed. Their eyes were wide as they thought, daring to educate the Demon King. Who is this young man after all? I can't feel a trace of Dao cultivation aura on his body, to the point where I can't detect where he came from at all. Sorry, you two, I am the owner of this shop. My pet didn't scare you, did it? Yi Changqing said as he scratched his head, while He Huang was still growling, emitting a strong demon power with a huge bump on its head. Pet? Hearing Yi Changqing call the Demon King a pet, Jinren Qianxian and Lu Changhe were shocked beyond shock. This kind of strange knowledge was being absorbed. Demon King can also be a pet? Seeing that the person who came was Yi Changqing, Lu Wushuang was overjoyed. She immediately saluted and greeted him. Wan Bei Wushuang greets Yi Qianbei. Yi Changqing also politely replied, "Xianzi Lu Wushuang, it's you, right? It's been a few days since we met. What brings you here today?" Hearing Yi Changqing's question, Lu Wushuang introduced Jinren Qianxian as he had instructed her beforehand, reporting to Qianbei, "This is an elder in my family. He saw the painting I bought from you before and admired it very much, so he came today to inquire." Seeing Lu Wushuang call Yi Changqing Yi Qianbei, Jinren Qian X. Yuan was shocked and stiff. It seemed that he didn't expect his idol to be such a young teenager who couldn't even tie a chicken. But he quickly stabilized his mood and stepped forward to salute him. "Lao Fu He Changxian pays respects to Yi Qianbei." Seeing an old man suddenly come in front of him and bow, Yi Changqing was also very surprised. After all, he was a human being who knew etiquette, so he couldn't let an elder bow to him like that. Yi Changqing politely reached out to support him and said, "Lao Xianxing, please stand up." Although he still felt a little awkward, he couldn't help but feel a little complacent. Thinking, the elder of the Xianzi, so he must be a cultivating person. Thinking this, Yi Changqing immediately opened his fan, covered his mouth and smiled, his face unusually smug. "Even if I don't have spiritual roots, with my unparalleled painting skills, I can also be called a Qianbei by such an immortal Dao bone elder." After being narcissistic for a long time, Yi Changqing noticed the stranger standing next to Yan Bingxin, Yan Gunyang. Who is this? After witnessing the whole scene just now, Lu Changhe's attitude towards Yi Changqing also had a little caution. He coughed softly and prepared to introduce his citizen resume. "This old servant is..." But before he could finish speaking, Yan Bingxin immediately clamped his neck and blocked his throat, causing him to almost suffocate. Lao Chen, his name is Lao Chen. He is the steward in my house, here to find me. Knowing that Lu Changhe had come to find Yan Bingxin, Yi Changqing couldn't help but be excited and approached to grab his hand, using a tearful eye to sincerely say, "That's great. I finally waited for you to come. Please take this scourge away before my life runs dry." Yi Changqing's unexpected action couldn't help but surprise Lu Changhe, his head full of question marks. Yi Changqing approached and whispered into Lu Changhe's ear, "You came to pick up your young lady, right?" "Yes," Lu Changhe said honestly, even though he was still confused. Hearing the answer he was waiting for, Yi Changqing happily smiled and said, "Welcome, welcome." Then he showed the demeanor of an immortal and invited everyone to come into his small shop for a cup of tea. "Everyone, come in for a cup of tea." Seeing that the Yi Qianbei he had always longed to meet was inviting him into his house for tea, Junren Qinshian was as happy as if he had caught up with his idol. And his heart, sparkling with girlishness, was so happy that he revealed all his emotions and shouted, "Thank you, Qianbei." In his heart, he was secretly happy. "My opportunity has come, and it can't be stopped." Yi Changqing gently pushed open the door and invited everyone to step inside. "Come on in." Lu Wushuang and Yan Bingxin stepped through the door in a very normal way. The two old men escorting them followed in their footsteps. But when it came to Junren Qinshian and Lu Changhe, it wasn't so smooth. As soon as they were about to step over the threshold, both of them were blocked by a golden barrier, causing them to exclaim in shock, "What's going on? Could this be the protective restraint that only the purest Tao rhythm can naturally generate in legends?" Jinren Qinshian speculated as he pressed his face against the restraint. "But a restraint of this strength can't be affected by ancient holy objects," Lu Changhe said, pressing his face next to him. Jinren Qinshian looked at Lu Wushuang and Yan Bingxin, who could smoothly pass through the restraint, and couldn't help but sigh. "Wushuang and that ninth princess's cultivation is not rejected by the barrier, but the profound cultivation of you and I is blocked outside the barrier." Seeing that Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe hadn't come in yet, Yi Changqing couldn't help but be puzzled and turned back to urge, "What's wrong with you two? Come in quickly." As soon as Yi Changqing finished speaking, a gust of wind suddenly blew, seeping into every crevice of the leaves where the branches of nearby trees were, causing a leaf to fall, swaying in the air until it gently touched the barrier that was preventing the two big shots from entering. The restraint shattered immediately when the leaf touched it, causing Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe, who were pressing their faces against it, to fall forward headfirst out of inertia. Seeing this, Yi Changqing's face darkened, and he looked at the two big shots who had fallen on their faces just by stepping over the threshold, and couldn't help but sigh. "What's wrong with them?" Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe could only smile awkwardly and replied with bruised faces, "Getting old, can't walk steadily." When they stepped into Yi Changqing's small shop, a magnificent scene of vast mountains and forests appeared before Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe. On the deep blue sky, flocks of birds were flying, and in the distance were rolling mountains and hazy mist seeping through the crevices of the rocks. In the middle of the scene was a small house. The scenery here was no different from stepping out of a painting. But the attention of Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe was not on the beautiful scenery here, but on the things that were present in Yi Changqing's yard. The black dog demon king with an indescribably silly face. Then the ancient demon tree. Even the tables and chairs were full of Tao rhythm. "We seem to have come to a very powerful place," the two said together in utter astonishment. Yi Changqing didn't seem to pay attention to the expressions of Jinren Qinshian and Lu Changhe. He told everyone to sit down and wait. "Everyone, please sit down comfortably first. I'll go get some tea." After Yi Changqing left, the remaining four sat together at the stone table in the yard to wait for him, trembling and silent, not moving at all. "Zhang Xian Xingzhu, what do you think about this young Qianbei?" Lu Changhe asked Jinren Qinshian tremulously. "I knew this Qianbei was a high-ranking person before, but I didn't think he would be to this extent." Jinren Qinshian could only answer him with a trembling voice. Lu Changhe, sweating profusely, glanced at the tree behind him and couldn't help but sigh. "That's right. This kind of demon tree only exists in ancient forbidden areas of 10,000 years. A great opportunity, but now it's casually planted in such a small yard. Just sitting down under this tree, I already feel oppressed and can't breathe." Lu Changhe said, unable to help but hug his chest, as if he was about to die. Jinren Qinxian, although his face was as pale as a frog's butt and he was about to faint, still tried to encourage himself. Persevere. This is a test that Qianbei is giving me. Suddenly, Jinren Qinxian's eyes fell on a set of chess pieces on a wooden table not far away. He immediately slammed the table and stood up to approach it. Walking and laughing loudly, as expected, it's not beyond my expectations. Looking at the chess board full of spiritual energy in front of him, he said confidently, it turns out that Yi Qianbei also studies chess. Seeing that Jinren Qinxian was about to go to the chess board, Yan Bingxin quickly spoke to stop him. Lao Xianxing, be careful. But it was too late. The chess board began to emit dense streams of spiritual energy, causing Jinren Qinxian to be shocked. This chess game seems to be teaching this old man something. As soon as he finished speaking, the spiritual energy of the chess board became stronger and stronger. Soldiers are impermanent, water is impermanent, days have short and long. Months have birth and death. Before Jinren Qinxian's eyes now were scenes that appeared one after another. Sometimes it was the image of a brave general holding a weapon, riding on the red hare, bravely charging on the battlefield, each slash sweeping away the enemy like a thunderbolt. Each slash sweeping away the enemy like a thunderbolt. Sometimes it was the image of ferocious tsunamis sweeping through the mountains, submerging everything in their path. Sometimes it was the image of the sun in the high sky radiating dazzling rays, causing the earth to be submerged in a sea of fire. Sometimes it was the image of a quiet lake in the dark night with a gentle moonlight above. War is not only at one time, water is not always in one shape, days have short and long, months end and start again. After absorbing these Tao principles from who knows where, Jinren Qinxian directly burst into tears, feeling like the sound of temple bells was faintly ringing in the void. I understand. In short, all the citizens who stepped into Yi Changqing's territory had their cultivation rise rapidly, money flowing in like water, except for our male lead, who was still useless as before, incomprehensibly using some magical power. Changqing just brought the tray of tea and said, sorry, I kept you waiting for a long time. He felt extremely puzzled. What's wrong with you guys? Zhang Xian immediately stepped forward and said, Qianbei, may I ask, what kind of formation is this chessboard? Changqing calmly replied, formation? This is a draw chessboard. That answer shocked both of them. A draw chessboard? Lu Changhe then closed his eyes and contemplated. A very good name. Looking at the two opposing black and white chess pieces, there was a hidden Tao of movement and stillness, Tao of yin and yang, Tao of war and harmony, and Tao of birth and death. Zhang Xian also realized opposition, even if it's balanced, is also harmony. The inner meaning of the chess game is so profound, it's very rare to see. Both of them were truly enlightened. In Changqing's heart, he suddenly felt confused. What are these two old guys talking about? Isn't a draw chessboard just where both sides don't win? What's there to analyze? He slowly placed the cups on the table. I'm so sorry, my humble abode doesn't have anything good. Please try the tea that I made myself. Both of them enthusiastically said, it's okay, guests follow the host. The elder secretly admired Yi Qianbei, such a peerless figure, can also make tea himself. It seems that he also has research on the Tao of tea. In the sect, there happens to be a top-tier tea cake passed down, made by grinding the leaves of enlightenment into powder. Perhaps I can give it to Qianbei. The leaf of enlightenment is a divine object for cultivation. Even if it's crushed, it's very difficult to obtain with money. It will definitely shorten the distance between myself and Qianbei. Just as he put his hand on the teacup, he was blinded by the light, and couldn't help but be curious. What is it? A whole leaf of enlightenment. The first time in his life seeing a complete leaf of enlightenment. It's so extravagant. Is this the handwriting of a high-ranking person? The leaf of enlightenment was first passed through water. All the spiritual energy on the outside of the leaf has been dissolved into the water. The tea water at this time is dense and extremely pure. Both of them competed to enjoy that feeling. Changqing suddenly threw the tea water into the air, causing the two of them to be extremely flustered. The overreaction surprised him. What's wrong? Everyone exclaimed together, that reason. Changqing still replied calmly, that cup is the first water, not tasty enough. Pour it away. Everyone can now enjoy it. The two were suddenly hesitant in their hearts. This tea, I don't dare to drink a little. Even Wu Shuang and Bingxin also felt reluctant. Only the smell aroused made the round a little loose. If you drink it, it must be fun. Chan Qing looked at the cup of tea, pondering. He had forgotten that these people were either great cultivators or from prestigious families. They probably drank the finest tea usually, and might look down on the tea he made himself. He immediately spoke up, "If you really find it difficult to swallow, then let's just forget about it." Chang Xian immediately shook his head. No, we just wanted to savor the aroma of the tea first. Then, everyone raised their cups, slowly savoring the tea, and felt the wonderful taste of it. Everyone's cheeks flushed, and their mood was extremely excited. Chang He also happily said loudly, "My body feels extremely comfortable. Brother He, how do you feel now?" Chang Xian smiled with pleasure and replied, "No wonder it's tea brewed with enlightenment leaves. The light boat has passed 10,000 mountains." Laughter filled Shaoqi town. Seeing everyone's happy reaction, Chang Qing couldn't help but wonder. Why does drinking tea feel like taking some kind of elixir? Chang Xian and Chang He suddenly paused as if they realized something. Their cultivation levels suddenly increased dramatically, which shocked both of them. Chang He immediately exclaimed, "My cultivation has increased." Chang Xian also held his head and exclaimed, "This old man feels like someone has been forcing me to cultivate for thousands of years." While he innocently asked, "How is the taste of my tea, you two?" Both were flustered and quickly considered, "How should we answer now? Could it be that Senior is testing our aptitude for cultivation?" Chang Xian then smiled and replied, reporting to Senior, "The tea water is sweet and its taste is endless. Entering the stomach is like soaking in a hot spring, making one's mental state seem to degenerate, extremely profound." Chan He completely agreed, "That's right, this is definitely the best tea I've ever had since I was born." Hearing this, Chang Qing felt extremely bewildered. Can a cup of tea really evoke so many feelings? Are these two ganging up to play a trick on me? Wu Shuang and Bing Xian also suddenly woke up, quietly turned to look at each other, then burst into laughter. Chan He also lowered his head and said softly, "Yi Xianxing. This item is a family heirloom of this old man. If you like it, consider it as a thank you gift for taking care of my young lady these past few days." He felt as if his heart was soothed. It seems they know their young lady has been freeloading here for so long, and feel guilty. He then smiled leisurely, "You've come, so why bring gifts? Then I won't be polite." Chang Xian suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. "I didn't bring any gifts this time," and this old codger snatched the opportunity. Wu Shuang also felt extremely regretful. "It would be great if I also had a gift for Senior." After taking the gift box in his hand, he immediately felt curious. "Let me see what good stuff this is." Everyone exclaimed in surprise, "This is a Xianbing Zhu." Under Chang He's smug gaze, he answered loudly, "That's right." Only Chang Qing was still bewildered and asked, "What is this?" Xianbing Zhu is a treasure from a million-year-old extremely cold land. A bead the size of a fingernail contains enormous energy. Chang Xian added, "This one is the size of an apple." Lu Laogui really spent a great price. Wu Shuang was also surprised. Although it can improve the cultivation of cultivators with ice spirit roots, cultivators of other attributes will damage their cultivation due to the cold entering their bodies when they come into contact with Xianbing Zhu. In severe cases, they will become cripples. Bing Xian also had a similar feeling. "I only stood on the side, and I already felt the cold entering my bones." Chang Qing curiously wanted to reach out, but unexpectedly received everyone's opposition. "Senior, you can't. It's dangerous." Ignoring those words, he quickly touched the Xianbing Zhu. Chang Qing's face was full of excitement. "It's really cold. This thing seems to automatically control the cold. Not bad, not bad. Holding this small ice ball in the summer to cool fruit will probably sell very well." Everyone was terrified to see him juggling the treasure and exclaimed, "A small ice ball!" Chang He suddenly felt worried for the safety of the treasure. "Something that we don't even dare to touch directly is like a toy in Senior's hands." Chang Xian nodded slightly. "Senior's cultivation is indeed unfathomable." Chang He then kowtowed respectfully, "Yi Xianxing. My young lady has caused a lot of trouble in your residence recently. Today, I have decided to take her away from here." He then stepped forward and took his hand. His eyes showed sadness as he asked back, "Is that true?" Chang He also replied with a sad attitude, "It is." Chang Qing quickly turned his back. To hide his joy, getting a gift and sending away a great Buddha, double happiness at the door. As soon as he turned back, he immediately changed his attitude. Young Lady Yen, I didn't expect us to say goodbye like this. She then replied, Yi Xianxing, please rest assured, Bing Xian will definitely not let down your kindness. Chang Xian observed the actions of the two people and felt a little unconvinced in his heart. What is so special about this ninth princess that she can gain the favor of Senior Yi like this? He was delighted that Chang Qing deliberately reached out to hold her back. Bing Xian immediately decided, this young lady is not leaving, which made him extremely disappointed. Bing Xian emphasized once again, Yi Xianxing, please rest assured, Bing Xian will definitely not let down your kindness. She resolutely refused to leave even if she was dragged, and instructed Chan He, go tell my father and mother not to miss me anymore. I will stay at Yi Xianxing's place for a while. I will inform them later when I want to go back. That heroic declaration made Chang Qing cry out. He quickly approached her and whispered, Young miss, aren't you afraid that on some clear moonlit night, I will perform the act of cooking rice? Seeing that Chang He seemed to be yielding, he stammered, if that's the case, which made Chang Qing panic in his heart. It's over, this old man really seems to be agreeing. If I don't make a move, it will be too late. He suddenly lowered his voice, his attitude full of seriousness. Young Lady Yen, of all things, filial piety comes first. If you really like staying here, you should go back and stay with your parents for a while. Come back after some time. Chang Xian also quickly persuaded, thinking of this old man's age, my parents have long turned into dust. Young Lady Yen, you are still young, you should cherish this kinship. Bing Xian then felt moved and stammered, but, not giving her a chance to change her mind, Chang Qing immediately grabbed a brush and began to show his calligraphic talent. Wrote the line, Daylilies grow by the hall. A traveling sun journeys to the horizon, leaving the verdant unique gates, never to see daylily blossoms. Combining them to form, Daylilies grow by the hall. A traveling sun journeys to the horizon, leaving the verdant, unique gates, never to see daylily blossoms. Everyone felt sentimental after seeing it because they missed their homes. Bing Xian's eyes were also filled with tears. Yi Xianxing, I understand your meaning. I will go back now. Chang Qing happily replied, you and I have known each other for a while. This calligraphy painting is a gift for you. Chan He wiped away his tears and said, just a few lines of poetry, and it can make me recall my past memories. Senior Yi is truly profound. Chang Xian also sadly replied, Senior Yi speaks in poems. I'm afraid those old fellows who claim to be descendants of the literary saint in Zhongzhou can only sigh. It was already late afternoon. Bing Xian had to say goodbye. Yi Xianxing, I will listen to you and go home first. I will visit you after some time. On the surface, Chang Qing showed reluctance. Take care on your way. In his heart, he was as happy as if he was attending a festival. It's best if you don't come back. I really can't afford to support you. After the two of them left, he then grinned, it's been 5 years since I came to this world. The farthest I've ever been is at the foot of Mount Taishan. If I could, I really want to go to the outside world and see what it's like. Chang Xian liked Chang Qing more and more. Senior Yi is so refined and kind. He has reached a realm that I can't even dare to imagine, and yet he is willing to personally see those two juniors off. Wu Shuang also nodded in agreement. Holy Lord. This is probably the style of nobility. Suddenly discovering something, his eyes widened in surprise, and immediately chased after them. Faced with Chang Xian's reaction, Wu Shuang also felt confused. He immediately exclaimed, That's right, it's definitely right. Chang Xian quickly reached down to the ground and grabbed something with a glittering light. His face suddenly lit up. Then he was sucked down, head first. A circle with the shape of Bagua. This is Taishan Di. The far side is not the main mountain, where Taishan Dian is located. Senior Yi wants to use the heaven and earth as canvas, use countless Dao rules as brush and ink, giving countless chi luck to our Taishan Qing Di. No wonder so many cultivation talents have been selected this time. Yuan Jianshi's disciple has advanced to the Huashan realm 1,000 years earlier. Even this old man, as the Holy Lord, even has the hope of ascending in this life. Wu Shuang had already caught up at this time, calling out, Holy Lord, what happened? He was still mumbling vaguely, so it was. It's true. Definitely right. Chang Xian was overjoyed when he realized, Senior Yi is that ancestor. Wu Shuang also exclaimed in surprise, Holy Lord! You mean Senior Yi is that one from our Tai Xian Xingdi? At this time, Chang Qing was also looking for a way down the mountain. Chang Xian resolutely affirmed, That's right. Senior Yi must be the ancestor who ascended to the upper realm. Hearing this, she immediately said respectfully, Stupid disciple asks for the Holy Lord's guidance. He calmly recounted, Just now, this old man's soul entered the painting and saw a layer of 5-colored clouds. This is the Qi luck that Senior Yi gave to our Tai Xian Xingdi. Wu Shuang asked curiously, Qi luck transformed into 5-colored clouds? This disciple has never encountered Qi luck that can produce substance. Chang Xian immediately explained, It's very normal. Qi luck is a kind of existence that is both mysterious and heaven-defying. This old man has only encountered it a few times. Moreover, Qi luck is extremely difficult to control. If you are a little careless, you will be backlashed and cause countless disasters. Tell me, who would use supreme divine powers to give countless Qi luck to our Tai Xian Xingdi, risking heaven-defying behavior to protect their descendants? He raised his hand to point. There is only one truth. Senior Yi came from the upper realm, who has been worshipped by our Tai Xian Xingdi for countless years. The loud call of ancestor by Chang Xian startled Wu Shuang. There were also hurried footsteps running over. It was Chang Qing looking at them with curious eyes. Are you still looking at the Tai Xian Qingtu that I drew? What do you two think of this painting? Chang Xian couldn't bear it anymore and immediately went to the main topic. May I ask Senior Yi? Does the painting you drew have Mount Tai Xian in it? His face suddenly darkened. He muttered, It's still been discovered? Chang Qing immediately turned his back. Slowly said, 5 years ago, I suddenly really wanted to go to Mount Tai Xian for a trip. With a timid appearance kneeling down, I beg you. Great seniors, I will definitely grow spiritual roots, please accept me. He was immediately rejected, Go away, we will not accept you. Who knew that Tai Xian was the residence of immortals? Chang Qing was lying flat under the stone. I have to beg. I'm stuck, help pull me out a bit. I can't take shape, so I have to go around the foot of the mountain. I can't take shape, so I have to go around the foot of the mountain. After returning, I had a feeling in my heart, so I put pen to paper to draw this Tai Xian Chang Qing too. If you don't let me in, why hit me? Looking at this work again today, it seems to be missing a bit of artistic conception, so I chose a few places to revise. Real person Chang Xian was very surprised, secretly thinking, so that's how it is. It turns out that Senior Yi came here 4 or 5 years ago. Yi Chang Qing smiled and asked, Do you know how to drink alcohol? I want to drink a few cups with you too. The old man heard this and suddenly remembered. Senior Yi, this old man just happened to bring a pot of very precious shui ling yang. In a flash, the old man conjured a pot of wine. He said happily, If there is such good wine, you two wait a moment, I will prepare some snacks. Wu Shuang saw the precious pot of wine. Her eyes widened. Shui ling yang is the rare shui ling hua from 10,000-year snow mountains, brewed for thousands of years to make one pot. It is difficult to buy even with a lot of money. The old man turned to protect, but this shui ling yang is not something that ordinary people can withstand. With this old man's current realm, at most only 3 cups. If Senior Yi wasn't interested, this old man would definitely not be willing to take it out. The sky was gradually getting dark. Chang Qing hurried over. In his hand he held a pot of soup with a fragrant smell that filled the sky. Bone soup is here. He put the big pot of soup on the table. A feast with many delicious dishes. This plate is spicy and sour wild boar lungs. This plate is smoked meat. This is braised tenderloin. He smiled and said, They are all my specialties, please try them. The two of them looked at the sumptuous meal and were shocked. Real person Chang Xian said this dish. The old man discovered this meat. Wu Shuang cautiously asked, Could it also have Dao patterns? The old man picked up a piece of meat and said, No, this is clearly demonic energy. Such essence must come from a top-level great demon. A wild boar appeared and said, That's right, it's me. Chang Qing stood outside and muttered in disappointment, What are you looking at again? Are you finally going to eat? He was stunned, he had only blinked, and the two of them were drunk, their faces were red. Old Chang Xian turned to give him a thumbs up and praised him non-stop, Senior, your skill is really amazing. His face was still blank, not understanding anything. The old man seemed to be immersed in the delicacies of the world. The meat of this top-level great demon is comparable to immortal medicine. Plus this old man's Shueling Yang. The old man drank wine like water, so now he is drunk and doesn't know anything. Wu Shuang on this side was no less inferior, constantly muttering, "Good wine." As soon as she finished speaking, she fell on the table. Chang Qing was confused. "Drink and get drunk, but definitely don't stay at my place." The old man scolded, "This girl is reckless. No matter the amount of alcohol or Shueling Yang, how can a small gened and cultivator like you withstand it?" No matter how much the old man scolded, she was still drunk and fell asleep on the table. The old man turned to invite him. "Come, Senior Yi, don't worry about this girl, let's continue drinking." The two of them tasted this top-quality wine together. After drinking all the wine, he asked, "Old He, when you taste this wine, it has a hint of herbal fragrance. Could it be that it has a nourishing effect?" The old man laughed and replied, "Senior is indeed discerning." He put the wine glass on the table and asked straightforwardly, "There is no such thing as going to the Three Treasures Hall without a reason. You have already taken out the nourishing wine as a meeting gift. So just say what you want." He thought to himself, "As long as you don't talk about money, it will be easy." Chang Xian pretended to be calm on the outside but was extremely flustered on the inside. He was exposed again. In the end, the old man had to be honest. The Tai Xian Chang Qing Tu painting by Senior Yi earlier was indeed skillful and sharp. He was worried in his heart, secretly asking, "Should I speak politely? Will speaking politely make Senior unhappy?" He also pondered, "I have already drunk his nourishing wine, so I have to show sincerity." Chang Xian seriously said, "May I ask, Senior?" Before he could finish speaking, Chang Qing smiled and said, "I will give that painting to you. That painting is one of my most proud works. If you like it, you can take it." After hearing this, the old man was extremely confused. Giving it to me? With Senior status, wouldn't he know what this painting means to Tai Xian Xingdi? But now he is directly giving it to me? He took out the painting and said happily, "Here, take it." The old man was moved to tears. Senior really seems to have seen through my identity, as the Holy Lord of Tai Xian Xingdi long ago. Thank you for the protection of the ancestor. This disciple will definitely not disgrace the mission to let Tai Xian flourish for 100,000 years. Seeing the ridiculous actions of the old man, he was also confused. What kind of madness am I not understanding again? Please, crazy immortal cultivator, stay away from my life in the future. A clear moonlit night. Great banquet in the royal palace. The guard announced, "Ninth princess has arrived. Lord Lu, the lord of the knight's mansion, has arrived." Lord Lu returned to the palace using the teleportation array this time. Presumably he had something urgent to say. He turned back blankly and asked, "Huh?" The ninth princess entered and waved her hand to greet. "Daughter greets Father Emperor." Lord Lu respectfully said, "Lu Chenghe greets Your Majesty." Emperor de Yen Yen Yang Yan smiled and said, "You have finally returned. Little Jiu's cultivation seems to have improved quite a bit." Yan Bingxing ran over and hugged the emperor, smiling happily. "Father Emperor, long time no see. Daughter misses you very much," he teased and asked back, "Really? Don't cause any more trouble outside and run back through the teleportation array again." She firmly denied, "No, Father Emperor. This time, our daughter has met a master." He curiously asked, "How high is this master?" She pointed towards the old man and said firmly, "Father, what I said is true. If you don't believe me, ask Prefecture Lord Lu." Lu Darren began to explain, "Your Majesty, this old servant can testify that what Ninth Princess said is true. This is also the reason why this old servant brought Ninth Princess back through the teleportation array. It's not just that Ninth Princess misses you, Your Majesty. This old servant also wants to quickly return and report this matter to Your Majesty." The Emperor demanded, "Tell me in detail." Lu Darren recounted the whole story for an entire night. After hearing the whole story, he pondered, "I didn't expect there to be such a reclusive powerhouse in my Diyin. Lu Lao, according to you, what is the cultivation level of this senior?" He seemed a little fearful when mentioning this person. Profound and unpredictable. Although the small house where Yu Qianbei lives has a very simple layout, there are opportunities and good fortune everywhere inside. A several 100,000-year-old demon tree and a tea leaf of enlightenment. Holding the Xianbing pearl with bare hands and playing with it. Even raising a demon dog of the demon king level. Lu Darren continued, but this old servant couldn't sense any aura of cultivation from her. If this old man is not mistaken, this Yi Qianbei has either reached the transformation realm, or has come from the upper realm. The emperor was extremely shocked. From the upper realm? Ninth princess also didn't believe it. How is that possible? He thought to himself, if there is such a terrifying existence in my Diyan, then he is destined to become a national secret. Because no matter who it is, they cannot bear the price of revealing this matter. Ninth princess was still bewildered, originally thinking that Yi Xianxing was a reclusive great power, but unexpectedly he was an immortal from the upper realm. If Yi Xianxing is an immortal, then my relationship with Yi Xianxing. Father, I'm afraid you don't know that the immortal in your mouth even cooks for me, she said. Wait, a lofty immortal cooking for me? Could it be that Yi Xianxing really likes me? The emperor asked. Lu Lao, you said that Bing Xian appeared at the senior's place from the post station overnight. Could it be that the senior wants Bing Xian to become a pawn of his? Lu Darren felt like he had been struck by lightning. A pawn? This is not impossible. The emperor looked at his beloved daughter with concern. Or is it that this senior's conspiracy is to control my most beloved daughter, and then control the entire Diyan? Using Diyan to lay out his plan for the world? Ninth princess refuted her father's thoughts. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Father, you haven't met Yi Xianxing. Yi Xianxing is refined and gentle. He is definitely not that kind of person. Hearing this, he taught, you are still young and inexperienced. The surface is kind, but the heart is cold-blooded. Cultivators kill too many people, let alone Yi Qianbei, who is a character of such a realm. Lu Darren and Ninth Princess exclaimed in panic, Old Ancestor! Outside, the moonlight shone brightly over the area. The Emperor, Ninth Princess, and a group of soldiers had gathered in the courtyard. She anxiously said, Father, Yi Xianxing is not that kind of person. The father looked at her and said, Bing Xian, Father doesn't want to slander Yi Xianxing. Bringing you to see the old ancestor is also to ensure your safety. She angrily asked, Really? He forced a smile and replied, Of course. Ninth Princess thought to herself, I know I am not worthy of Yi Xianxing, but I will absolutely not allow others to doubt him, even if it is my father. The Emperor recalled the past and said, Back then, when you were born, you had the attribute of top-grade ice spiritual root. The old ancestor emerged from seclusion for you once in 100 years, causing a sensation in the entire palace. This girl is extraordinary and will definitely help us prosper Diyan. I will name her Yan Bingxin. The soldiers shouted in unison, Old Ancestor's blessing lasts for 10,000 years. Diyan's blessing lasts for 10,000 years. You are also the only child who is the most favored by the old ancestor among the princes and grandsons of Diyan. Father must ensure my safety. The door was finally opened. Inside, a voice said, Bing Xian, you're back? Come in. Ninth Princess and the Emperor stepped inside. She politely cupped her hands and bowed. Yan Bingxin greets the old ancestor. The Emperor was no exception. Yan Yangyan greets the old ancestor. Yan Tianshan smiled and said, It seems that Bing Xian has gained quite a bit of opportunity and good fortune this time leaving the imperial capital. Ninth Princess seriously reported, Old ancestor, Bing Xian met a senior in the Tai Xian Holy Land. Everything was due to the guidance of this senior. He asked, What kind of senior is he? She replied, How should I describe it? The senior is skilled in calligraphy, chess, painting, and poetry. Bing Xian hasn't seen anything else. Tianshan asked again, Is it difficult to describe? She explained, It's not like that, it's just that the senior has never revealed anything to Bing Xian. Bing Xian only knows that his surname is Yi, and his name is Changqing. He pondered, Surname Yi, name Changqing? Surname Yi, name Changqing. Suddenly, he realized something. Luck emanated from Ninth Princess's body. He said, This name, this old man has never heard of it. But I see that there are some complex auras in the true energy of the ice attributes surrounding little Ninth. Perhaps living together for a long time has been influenced by that person. It seems that this person has some strength. The Emperor anxiously spoke, Old Ancestor, the prefect of the Night Prefecture, Lu, and Bing Xian have also met this senior. Old Ancestor, can you tell me more details? He recounted, It is said that this person lives in seclusion in Shaoxi town. Ancient treasures are everywhere, and opportunities are countless. He even raises a black dog of the Demon King level. Old Tianshan, After hearing this, turned to ask, the Tai Xian Holy Land is hiding such a character? The Emperor confided that's why this junior is worried that he has taken Bing Xian in for many days. Wanting to use Bing Xian to control the Yen and you, old ancestor. Please, old ancestor, investigate Bing Xian's body to ensure her safety. He said, what you said makes sense. Little Ninth, come here. He transmitted a source of energy into Ninth Princess's body. Immediately, the luck in her body poured out. The Emperor exclaimed in panic, how can there be two groups of luck? Old ancestor, Bing Xian. Old Tianshan also didn't expect. The top-grade ice attribute Little Ninth actually possesses dual spiritual roots? Could it be because of that person? Bing Xian exuded the pure beauty of a young girl. Tianshan was terrified. He was actually able to allow Bing Xian to generate another spiritual root. She also couldn't believe that she possessed dual spiritual roots? He was extremely worried. Little Ninth, tell this old man the details about that person. She replied, old ancestor, Yi Xianxing is indeed incredibly powerful, just like father said. But if you say that he is using Bing Xian to control the Yen kingdom, that is impossible. The Emperor angrily asked, Bing Xian, why are you helping an outsider? She hurriedly explained, I didn't help Yi Xianxing. When he took me in, he didn't know my identity and taught me calligraphy, chess, painting, and poetry. Thinking about it now, the small courtyard must be full of spiritual energy. And due to Yi Xianxing's guidance, I was able to generate a second spiritual root. Tianshan, after hearing this, taught her, Little Ninth, don't talk nonsense. Do you know that it is very difficult to cultivate a spiritual root with external force? Let alone a second one? The Emperor also added, that's right. If, as you said, playing chess and painting can easily guide enlightenment, then wouldn't everyone have dual spiritual roots? If you can prove that this senior has indeed attained Tao intent in art, she said confidently, I can prove it. Yi Xianxing gave me a painting. I will go get it for you to see. One night, the wind howled. The wine party between Changqing and Zhang Xianzhenren was still ongoing. Come, drink. Where's the wine? Give me another cup. Changqing enthusiastically said, come, let me fill it up for you. He dissuaded, I can't drink any more. If senior drinks any more, you will really get drunk. He smiled and said, okay, then I'll finish mine, you can do as you please. You're already drunk after only drinking half a cup, how weak. Zhang Xian's eyes lit up and said, Senior, I see there is a very mysterious chessboard in your courtyard. Perhaps your chess skills have reached a very high level, right? He poured wine while replying, I know a little bit. He suddenly had an idea. Senior, this junior has a peerless incomplete chess game. I don't know if Senior is interested? He blankly said, let me take a look. He took out a roll of paper from his pocket. Then he gleefully introduced, this is called Four Dragons Spitting Water. He thought to himself, that old fool from the Grand Azure Holy Land relied on this chess game to suppress me for hundreds of years. I wonder if the master ancestor can solve it? The moon was full and round tonight. He said, please, Senior, give me some guidance. After reading it, the young man felt dizzy. Peerless incomplete chess game? That's all? He replied, that's right. This junior has not been able to solve it for decades. He felt annoyed. Isn't this just an introductory problem to go? What do you immortals call this, an incomplete chess game? What kind of chess do you usually play, flying chess? He respectfully said, Senior, can you teach me how to solve it? He blankly pondered, I understand now. It seems that there are indeed no Go masters in your immortal world. Then it's my turn to show off. He spread the paper on the table. Then said, follow me. A Go board was placed neatly. The two of them were walking towards the place to play Go. He just glanced at the chessboard, and immediately recognized the divine secrets. He gaped in shock. Divine secrets, the heavenly Tao, calculating the end of the mundane world. Senior, 80% of this chessboard is the legendary pseudo-immortal artifact, the divine mechanism. Yi Changqing read the paper in his hand, loudly proclaiming, this chess game talks about various ways to solve it, approximately 12 types. He raised his hand, showing 4 fingers, and said to Zhang Xian, I will only impart to you the 4 most essential ways to solve it. He hesitated. As for the other 8 types, Zhang Xian understood the intention of Changqing, declining his sincerity, understood the intention of Yi Qianbei. I will personally comprehend it. Just waiting for that, Changqing closed his eyes and nodded, implying agreement, in his heart pondering, all of this I just made up, otherwise how can I show that I have a skill? Inside the imperial palace of Dian, Yan Tianshan was reading aloud the fine words and beautiful phrases that Changqing wrote in the scroll to the emperor as well as the princess, Huan Chao Xingtang. Jia Yuzi Xingtianya, Ci Qingqi Tang Men Bujian, Huan Chao Hua. Yan Yangnian was looking very troubled. With something heavy on his heart, he muttered to himself, this trip to visit the old ancestor, one is to ensure the safety of Bingxin, and the other is to see the level of the other person through the old ancestor, and devise a response. Yang Yan, with sweat beading on his forehead with every word of Changxian, was occupied with too much thinking so he wasn't able to listen clearly at all. Now it's just a writing from this senior. Yet the old ancestor views it as a treasure. The old ancestor said the final sentence loudly, Bujian Huan Chao Hua. The old ancestor looked far away, tears unconsciously falling without notice. He let his thoughts out in a few sentences. Old Fu has trained for thousands of years. First is to ask about the immortals and enter everlasting life. Second is for the blessing of Dian to shake the heavens, yet I have abandoned the people beside me. Yan Tianshan folded the paper, and softly said to the father and daughter, this senior, use the Tao intent in these lines and lets old Fu find the initial goal of training. Training, is training of the body as well as the heart. Hearing the words of the old ancestor, the emperor over here was shivering. Something bad happened. The old ancestor has taken notice. The old ancestor cleared his throat and called the princess, Little Ninth. Yan Tianshan gave the paper back to her which he held and treasured like gold, and also didn't forget to tell the Little Ninth, if you have the opportunity, please thank that senior on my behalf. The old ancestor rubbed his long white beard and said calmly, this paper broke my heart obstacle. If there are no accidents, I may be able to break through soon. The emperor opened his eyes wide, filled with shock, and said to the old ancestor, are you saying that's true? The Little Ninth who was out of the conversation was only able to speak at this point. If old ancestor has the intention, why don't you go meet Yi Qianbei in person? Yan Tianshan he turned his head rapidly at those words, and not only the old ancestor but even the father was surprised by this, and he instantly asked back, Little Ninth, what are you saying? The ninth princess, with a radiant face, opened into a smile and told the old ancestor of the story between her and Yi Changqing. Before Bingxin left, Yi Xianxing had agreed with Bingxin that he would allow Bingxin to go back to see him. Changxian was unable to believe what she was saying, and continuously asked her to make sure, and Bingxin also affirmed with the old ancestor to set his mind at ease. Yan Yangnian's face had no color at this time. He urgently stopped this from happening before his secret was exposed. Old ancestor, you must not. Wabi feels that there is a trap in this. The emperor was trying to persuade the old ancestor of his house to not trust a person too much. This person indeed has some skill, but how can there be things like that in the world? Not only gifting Bingxin a second spiritual root, but also allow her to visit at any time she wants. He also said more, the world says that powerful people will often use commoners to be their pawns. I worry that this person is using Bingxin as bait to bring the old ancestor into it. Unable to listen to any more words from the mouth of Yan Yangnian, the old ancestor yelled, enough! You who is useless, bearing the title of Emperor of Dian, your heart is so narrow. Regardless of the words of the emperor, the old ancestor completely defended Yi Xianxing, that Qianbei has gifted our Dian with a genius in thousands of years. You dare to suspect the intent of that Qianbei, it is truly extremely laughable. Bingxin saw Yan Tianshan scolding her father nonstop, so she came to his defense. Old ancestor, father is not that type of person, he is only worrying for Dian. The old ancestor turned and glanced at Yang Yan, who was shivering because he misspoke. If it wasn't for this reason, then his emperor would not need to exist any longer. Old Tianshan had reduced his anger, and said to Yang Yan, you have still not reached that realm, therefore you still cannot understand clearly. Yan Tianshan started to remember the past, using the weak as pawns. Inside the old ancestor's mind appeared a black demon with a terrifying face with long black hair who was grinning. It's only those realms reaching a bottleneck. People of millions of years were unable to break through a realm, so they use inferior methods. The old ancestor remembered Yi Changqing. Regardless of what angle you look at him, his bearing was very special, and this Qianbei, whether it be in the heart or in skill, he had already reached the summit. Yan Tianshan continued to speak, comparing to being a chess player. They like to seclude to the common world and smile with the mortal world. The emperor heard the lessons from the old ancestor, and immediately bowed his head to apologize. Old ancestor, Yang Yan knows his wrong. He said with a confident voice, if the old ancestor you are planning to go meet that Qianbei, then Yang Yan will prepare gifts to be bestowed on you. Seeing that his grandson had finally realized his errors, the old ancestor felt satisfied and said, it's good that you know your wrongs. But a character like that Qianbei probably wouldn't be interested in any type of treasure, therefore. Tianshan quickly turned around and spoke with a tough voice. Benzwa is commanding you at the capital to build a shrine for Yi Qianbei. With the command given, the commoners will all be out to build a temple for Yi Xianxing and set up a golden figure. The purpose is to feel the incense of the 10,000 of people. At a noisy market a soldier was reading out the orders bestowed by the king. By order of the saint, 3 days after the 6th of September all of Dian's people will gather at Dongshan, where the royal family worships. Some people were still unable to understand what the king was planning and couldn't help but wonder, what day is the 6th of September? Everyone started discussing the situation. Dongshan is a feng shui treasure ground to where the royal family goes for worship, and who are they worshipping? Moreover, there was someone who got news from somewhere who informed the villagers that, I heard that the whole city has been rebuilding a shrine for 3 days now, and it looks like it is called the Changqing Shrine. At this time at an unnoticed corner a man with dark clothes and a face covering, and he surely wasn't a good person, was watching from a distance and heard the comments. And hearing the information from the mouth of the fat man he muttered to himself, Changqing Shrine, a feng shui treasure ground for the royal family, this is a bit strange and must be reported back to the saint. At another beautiful country, the Grand Xia ancient country. Here, an urgent meeting was being held for the high-ranking officials. The emperor was standing above, reading information and couldn't help but wonder and asked his close officials. Does any of you know what this Changqing is referring to? No different than the emperor, these officials also didn't know what Changqing was, and the whole meeting was filled with commotion. Is Changqing praying for the country's good fortunes? Does Yan Yanyan have some sort of plot? A official added, 80% chance that the old immortal of Yantian Mountain is making moves. Yan Yanyan is deliberately releasing smoke bombs to trick us. A courtier reported to the emperor, Your Majesty, I implore you to send someone to investigate the truth about Day. At the same time, but in Guizhen Kingdom. The emperor of this kingdom lost his composure due to the vague and scarce information he received. He slammed his hand on the table, causing a crack to appear, as if another strike would shatter it. What are those intelligence officers doing? They can't even gather clear information. What's the use of supporting them? The close officials standing nearby were also frightened by the emperor, and used all their words to soothe his mind. Your Majesty, please calm down. Although we still don't know the identity of this Senior Yi, building a temple and creating a golden statue to receive the incense of the people is not something an ordinary cultivator can receive. This official lowered his voice, revealing a serious tone in every word, unless it's some great power who is only one step away from ascension, or a figure who has already ascended to the upper realm. Seeing the analysis was reasonable, the emperor asked for a plan. So, in your opinion, how should we respond? This official revealed a cunning smile and begged the emperor for more time to redeem himself. This foolish servant must send more highly skilled secret agents to investigate this matter thoroughly. 3 days later, in front of the palace of Yan Tianshan, Yan Yangran was waiting for someone. Suddenly, he bowed and said, The temple of Senior Yi has been completed. Please invite the old ancestor to inspect it. It turned out he was inviting someone to evaluate it. A close maid came out and reported to Yangran, Your Majesty, the old ancestor is about to break through and specifically instructed you to work diligently and not be lazy. Yangran was dumbfounded. Waiting was futile. Yangran bowed and prepared to leave. This junior understands. At this moment, 2 figures with mysterious movements were watching their conversation on the roof. One of them took off his mask and smiled triumphantly. Brothers, did you hear that? Yan Tianshan is about to break through. His Majesty's guess was correct. The others exchanged glances, expressing helplessness towards this person. Isn't His Majesty guessing that Yan Yangyan has a conspiracy? Another interjected. What are you talking about? Which department are you from? A single sentence tore apart this short-lived brotherhood. Daxia Kingdom. It turned out the 2 sides were not on the same side. One side was Daxia Kingdom, and the other was Guizhen Kingdom. The two sides were about to tear each other apart, and didn't recognize any brotherhood. Who is your brother? How dare you infiltrate the core of our Guizhong Kingdom's scout team? Beat him! Ignoring the chaos on the roof, Yang Yan gave the order, set off for Dongshan. On Dongshan, the people were staring at the statue covered with red cloth. Everyone couldn't help but wonder, who exactly is the statue covered with red cloth? A man spoke up, building it so grandly it must be someone who has made the greatest contribution to our Day Kingdom. The person next to him couldn't restrain his curiosity. Could it be someone from the Knight's Manor? A shout rang out, His Majesty is here. The 9th Princess is here. All the people knelt down to pay their respects. This humble citizen greets your Majesty. Greets the 9th Princess. Yang Yan told everyone to rise. Yang Yan went straight to the main topic. He stood in front of the red-clothed statue and said, I know you have doubts about why I built the Chongqing Temple so grandly in the capital and enshrined Senior Yi Chongqing. The emperor clasped his hands and continued his unfinished sentence, but this matter is related to a major event. The only thing I can tell you is that Senior Yi Chongqing has a debt of gratitude to our Day Kingdom, and this favor will affect the national destiny of our Day Kingdom for 100,000 years, even tens of thousands of years. Hearing the words from their own king, the people couldn't help but be shocked and exclaimed, tens of thousands of years. What kind of existence is this Senior Yi? Could it be an immortal? The two spies who were investigating also gained worthy results, and were discussing Yi Chongqing of Day Kingdom. You all heard it, right? Day has an immortal protecting them. Another interjected, that's right, and they even ordered the construction of a temple, and there's that old immortal in the imperial palace. The two suddenly realized a new piece of information this proves. This proves that the old immortal in the imperial palace is not dead. We must quickly return to the palace and report to the monarch. Suddenly a voice shouted, but bring this news back. Below, the emperor was starting to have Zen master Huang Xianqi perform the ceremony. Huang Xianqi began to walk. The Zen master held the emperor's decree and slowly approached the statue, reading as he walked, on September 6th, at noon, everything is favorable, without avoiding evil or taboo. I feel compassion for all beings, a decree. Suddenly, the Zen master's expression changed drastically and shouted, the Chongqing Temple is completed today. Yang Yan slowly pulled down the red cloth, revealing a majestic and handsome figure of Yi Chongqing. Especially his hot physique, bulging muscles, broad chest, six-pack abs, his body seemed to glow. Suddenly, a strong fragrance emanated from the armpit of the statue. Seeing the abnormality, Yang Yan shouted in shock, what's going on? The 9th princess was also caught off guard. What is this? The fragrance quickly spread. Guards, quickly gather and protect the emperor. The people who smelled the strange fragrance couldn't help but praise, what is this? It's so comfortable. I feel very energetic. Is it because of the statue? Realizing the abnormality, Yang Yan said, it's Daoyuan again. Even the statue of the literary saint didn't have such a situation. Could it be that Senior Yi is a top-level existence even among immortals? When he is made into a statue? Suddenly, a gale rose, blending with the fragrance from before to create an extremely beautiful scene. Looking at the light shining in the sky, the people exclaimed in awe, the five-colored light is brought about by Senior Yi's statue, bringing good luck to us. At this moment, a storm arose and thunder rumbled. It was just clear skies and now it was about to rain. What the hell is going on here? One of them exclaimed. Why is there light and thunder? This celestial phenomenon is really strange. The people looked up at the strange things happening before their eyes, unable to believe that this strange thing was happening here, now, and before their eyes. Xiao Jiu was also surprised by the strangeness of the heavens and the earth, and asked Yang Yan, Father, I've never seen this phenomenon before. Should we let Lu Lao come over? At this time, her father was also distracted by this supernatural phenomenon, and could only reassure his daughter, don't rush, observe and then decide. After a while, the dark clouds dissipated and the sky gradually cleared again. Another phenomenon appeared. Someone called out, it's five-colored clouds. Everyone, look! There are people in the clouds. Suddenly, a man in red with a chain in his hand appeared in the sky, singing a song that seemed to stir the heavens and the earth. Next to him were two beautiful girls in flowing silk dresses. They played and sang together, and birds flew everywhere. Yang Yan's mouth was agape, Unable to believe it, such a miracle. Could it be because of the universe and Senior Ye's golden body? A soldier ran in and reported to the emperor, reporting to your majesty. In the depths of the imperial palace, another abnormal phenomenon has been encountered. The aura of the great Tao is chaotic, but no accidents have occurred. That ancestral emperor is about to break through. Hearing the hot news, Yang Yan was even happier, his voice full of happiness. The old ancestor has finally broken through. If so, wouldn't he be closer to ascending to the upper realm? Yang Yan also folded his hands and prayed to the sky, his heart full of gratitude to Yi Changqing. Thank you, Senior Yi, for your care. He continued his sincere thanks. If one day Senior can protect the ancestral emperor of our dynasty into the upper realm, our Day Kingdom will enjoy eternal peace. A few days later, in Guizhen Kingdom. It was still the familiar scene of the Guizhen King when he was so angry that he slammed the table, looking around fiercely. Humph. That old bastard is indeed not dead yet. Angry, he still asked? But is there any other news? The three spies were asked by the king, and their faces were full of joy. One said the others are all small things, such as the Day Kingdom having a peerless great power backing them. The one in the middle also interjected, it is said that the old immortal of the Day Kingdom also received guidance from this person. Finally, the one on the outermost side said, when the golden body was established, and the temple was built for this person, the heavens sent down strange phenomena. The king nodded after listening, so that's how it is. Suddenly, he realized something was wrong. This king immediately threw 3 decrees at the faces of the 3 spies. The 3 spies didn't dodge in time and were hit hard, their faces distorted. The Guizhen king was so angry that his veins turned red. He didn't hesitate and threw them all out, saying, a bunch of useless things. Is this a small matter? Get out! Get out! Useless! At the same time, but in the imperial palace of Daxia Kingdom, it was very different from Guizhen Kingdom. Wu Huang sat at the table, clasped his hands on the table, pondering. It seems that this Yan Yang Yan really stumbled upon something good. Several close officials began to discuss. The one in green said, Wu Huang, it seems that Day's rise is bound to be successful. The one in red retorted, what if the old immortal in the Day Imperial Palace successfully breaks through? Wouldn't our 3 other countries be controlled like ants? The most important thing now is to quickly find out who this Senior Yi is. The two argued back and forth, face to face, and the situation seemed very tense. Neither of them was willing to give in, and they spoke louder and louder. The most important thing right now is to decide who to form an alliance with. Of course, it's Guizhen Kingdom. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That old man just looks like he's not very smart. The other said. Quickly go and build a good relationship with the Day Kingdom. What about Dasuo Kingdom? Can anyone contact them? If Zhongzhou shakes, I'm afraid history will repeat itself again. Hearing this, Wu Huang seemed to wake up suddenly and began to tremble. Recalling the events of 10,000 years ago, the Zhongzhou continent was split into 7 countries, and the heroes rose up, shaking the world for 100 years. At that time, there was chaos and slaughter, and skulls could be seen lying everywhere. I don't know, from the beginning, a peerless figure appeared, with a halo of 7 colors radiating from his body. It is known that this young man bravely stepped out to stabilize the world and eliminate the evil forces that were targeting the people. After the rebellion was quelled, the 4 ancient kingdoms gradually emerged. At this time, in Day Kingdom, Yang Yan was talking to his people. The ancestors of the 4 ancient kingdoms originally built temples and made golden bodies to worship this peerless figure, enjoying 10,000 years of incense, but I don't know why they died without illness. Yi Changqing's body, which was cultivating, gradually dissipated. He widened his eyes and shouted, no! He woke up with a start, his face horrified. Changqing sat up, panting to get over the nightmare just now. He comforted himself, this dream is really beautiful. I dreamed that someone built a temple and offered incense to me, and praised me as a peerless figure. Yi Changqing stood up, wearily stretched, and yawned, unable to help but sigh about what just happened. This dream is too real. Or is it because I don't have spiritual roots that I actually believed it? After sobering up a bit, he walked to the door, about to open it, muttering to himself, but after having this dream so many times, the quality of sleep seems to have improved a lot. Yi Changqing walked out and looked at the clear blue sky, thinking, That He Changxian old man has been gone for a month. He sat down on the toad chair at the tea table in the courtyard, thinking, I also don't know if he has understood what the 4 dragon water and soil are. Speaking of this, he raised his hand and counted 1, 2, 3, 4. I've taught him all 4 of my tricks. Yi Changqing sighed dejectedly. It turned out that he was helpless with the rock and the cultivation gift card, secretly blaming the old man. What kind of cultivation big shot gives gifts like this? He raised the 2 special gifts in his hand and still complained, it's a rock again, and it's a card again. Aren't you afraid of losing your status? Last night when he taught the He Changxian old man, he had enthusiastically instructed the old man like this, you must first do this, and finally you must do that. Don't you understand? He said so enthusiastically, but the old man only responded perfunctorily. Now, remembering it, Changqing was still a little scared, but he even had to spend so much effort understanding the entry-level proposition of Go. It's really difficult to teach old people. Thinking of having such a master, he felt sorry for him. The Tai Xian Holy Land has this kind of elder. Before he had time to feel sorry, he immediately became narcissistic. If I had spiritual roots and this IQ, I would have become a peerless genius, shaking the entire cultivation world. 1 second he was proud of himself, and the next second Changqing threw away the useless wooden card and returned to reality. He looked at the stone in his hand and decided to talk sweetly to it. I'll use you as a tea pet. The beautiful stone was a little dazed by the young man in front of it. Changqing picked up the inkstone and brush in his hand and started the new day by practicing calligraphy. He made a strong stroke. Then he muttered to himself, not understanding what the problem was, there's no problem with the brush, and there's no problem with the paper. He stared at the paper. He also didn't understand where the yellow streaks came from, causing him to call out the name of a familiar food, mung bean. It turned into yellow mist. He stared intently at the strange event. His hands began to skillfully write another stroke. Then 2 strokes, 3 strokes. Wherever he brushed, the ink came out. He kept writing like this. Suddenly, streams of golden light began to appear, illuminating the entire sky. Changqing was surprised by the new discovery and rejoiced alone. Yellow smoke appeared again. He looked at his hands and asked himself, could it be my golden hands? He shouted loudly, have I awakened? The little birds flying had to fall to the ground. The dog turned sharply towards its master's room, thinking, the master is so powerful that even his fingers have turned gold. Changqing looked at the shining golden light with interest. He started to try writing another line, again. This time the golden smoke appeared even more strongly. He wrote the line, loving her loneliness. The sky darkened immediately, leaving only a patch of blue sky. He had to stop writing to see this strange phenomenon. The story begins when the male lead Yi Changqing is thinking about something. Could this be the strange phenomenon that I caused? Try it again. While thinking, he painted on the paper the line, who says standing in the light is a hero? Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck down, the screeching sound shook the sky. Hearing this, Changqing also unconsciously went out to see what was happening. He was just standing there blankly, his face full of suspicion. Lightning struck down again, this time it struck directly where Changqing was. Sunlight appeared behind the storm, and he smiled contentedly and said finally, God has not let me down. He added, the legendary peerless powerhouse has some movement, which will lead to strange phenomena. A single thought can fly up to the sky and go down to the earth, traveling all over the 8 wastelands. Then Changqing pointed to the sky and concluded with the sentence, Yukong, flying. However, nothing happened after he said it, alone in the land of no one. He began to think again, could it be that I have to use a spell? Another spell was performed by Changqing, as you wish, according to my will, fly up for me. When the pen pointed towards the sky, thunder and lightning rumbled, the sky was full of gloom, gray. Following that, lightning struck the pen. Of course, he was also struck by lightning until he was charred black. Disappointment filled the smell of grilled meat on his body, and even the pen was struck until there was nothing left. Changqing still didn't know the problem he was facing. He collapsed and asked, what's going on? I can even summon strange phenomena, why still no magic power? Are you giving me another special effects experience card to play with? Seemingly he had realized something. That's not right, there's another possibility. Could this be a reminder that I have spiritual roots? A few days later in the town, the surrounding commoners were all very curious when they saw a large ship flying past them, Look quickly, it's the large ship of the Ziqing Holy Land. It seems that it's time for the martial arts competition of the two great holy lands again. It's really imposing. It's still true that cultivating immortality has prospects. I also want to send my children to cultivate immortality. Above the imposing ship, there was a person standing with arms crossed in front of the cockpit. He said with a contemptuous voice, "Ridiculous. How can the Holy Land sect be a place for them to enter?" If they want to, another person behind him also agreed, "That's right. The most important thing in cultivation is the foundation. The quality of the spiritual roots is too poor. It's all just talk." He continued, "Lu Shixiang, if I remember correctly, you also came from a cultivating family, right?" The orange-haired man asked him with a threatening look, "What do you mean by saying that?" The disciples under his command were about to fight with the person opposite, but fortunately he stopped them. On this side, the bespectacled man didn't give in either. He pushed up his glasses and said sarcastically, "It's nothing, just reminding Shixiang, just like ordinary mortals in your eyes. You and I in the eyes of powerhouses like Qiandai Shiji are probably no different from ants." He turned to another person, his voice still sarcastic, "Su Shidi, it seems that you have gained a lot of insights recently. Pay respects to the holy son Shixiang." The boy politely replied. A gongzi holding an iron comb walked over and said, "In the eyes of powerhouses like Qiandai Qingxue?" The orange-haired man suddenly rejoiced in his heart, daring to praise Qiandai Shiji in front of the holy son Shixiang. "You're done for." That gongzi continued, "On the contrary, the holy son Shixiang and I are ranked after her." This time the bespectacled man was horrified. He said with a stuttering voice, "Holy son Shixiang and holy maiden Shiji are the same. They are both powerhouses of our sect." Hearing those words, he was temporarily satisfied. "It's good that you know. Although you are born with talent, your status is ultimately a little worse than Lu Shidi. Respect the elders, and don't know how to admit your mistakes." On this side, the bespectacled man was very humiliated and angry, but there was nothing he could do but admit his mistakes. Shidi knows his mistakes.